All right, let's get into it, shall we? Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Kiorkof, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we are going to be, of course, live streaming for the next 2 hours, Kickoff with Kiorkof, as we do every Sunday morning. Welcome, everybody. Again, we will be answering questions. We will be showing you guys my updated rankings as of this morning, and of course, helping you set your lineups in order to help you win in Week 10, and then set you up for success in order to help you win a 2021 Fantasy Football Championship when it's all said and done this season. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for those of you who have been in here already blowing up the chat. This is an exciting week, huh? It feels like there's more energy in the chat this week than there was in weeks past, and I mean, that's good to hear. But also, in the same vein, it also has to do with the fact that there's a lot of injuries that we're dealing with. There's a lot of players that are going to be missing. So we want to go ahead, establish what exactly we're going with this upcoming week. Just wanted to once again reiterate, guys, everything on the left side of the screen in terms of my top 36 running backs, wide receivers, top 16 quarterbacks and tight ends, those rankings to the left of me are up to date as of today in a half PPR scoring format. If you do play in a standard or a full PPR scoring format, I can assure you that the rankings aren't that much of a difference. Yes, they do differ for specific players. If a player has far more, utilization in the receiving game and doesn't get many, opportunities in terms of touchdowns, obviously they'd be adjusted accordingly in a PPR standard. But either way, hopefully I can answer your questions, whether it is via on screen or for those of you sending them in. Again, if you decide to send in a question, I appreciate the support, but please let me know what your scoring format is. It really does make a huge difference, like I was just mentioning. But either way, thank you for those of you who have already showed up. For those of you who are already here and continuing to try to show some support, make sure you click the like button. I know it seems like an insignificant factor, but by all means, it is extremely important in terms of supporting the channel and helping us grow. Outside of that, if you guys haven't checked out Underdog Fantasy, there's a link down in the description of the video. If you go ahead and sign up today and use promo code Andrew, Underdog Fantasy is willing to match up to $100 of your first deposit. We did a Hidden Gems video yesterday. Of course, talked about a couple pick'em slips there for those of you who are interested. If you're trying to draft a team for this or today's specific Battle Royale, it's no better time to do that. All right. Again, I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I possibly can in the chat. First and foremost, checking out some of these donations that were sent in already. And let's get into it, shall we? Week 10, Kickoff with Kiorkof. Thank you. All right. True Gentleman sends in a question, says, Teddy Bridgewater, Wentz, Heineke. I'm going to play Wentz there. Heineke is an option. That's why I have him at 16, but he is significantly lower than where Wentz is currently and Teddy Bridgewater is. So I'd go Wentz, Bridgewater, and Heineke like it shows on screen. And then your follow-up question was Mike Williams or Terry McLaurin in a full PPR scoring format. Right now, I mean, if we're just looking for overall upside, they both have it. I think if you're looking in a full PPR, you probably still go Terry McLaurin in that regard. I think Mike Williams will have a better week than he typically does, and so will Terry McLaurin. They both have really advantageous matchups going into this week. But yeah, I would play McLaurin and Wentz there. Thank you very much, True Gentleman. Appreciate it. Shane sends in a question, says, hey, flex option, Van Jefferson or Brandon. I'm assuming you meant Brandon Bolden. There wasn't a Bolden put there. Michael Carter or Javonte Williams. As of those four options, I would play Michael Carter over all of them. With Mike White at quarterback, then playing against the Buffalo Bills, probably in a negative game script, he is most likely going to get a heavy utilization in terms of the receiving game. And when he has so much upside in that PPR format, that is where I'm going to go with. Thank you very much, Shane. Appreciate it. Paul sends in a question, says full PPR, Ramondre Stevenson or Jeff Wilson. Okay, well, Jeff Wilson doesn't really get much utilization from what we saw last week, of course. I know Elijah Mitchell has been dealing with injuries over the last couple weeks, but it's nothing that concerns me enough to where I would start Jeff Wilson after a dud week in which he didn't even play a single offensive snap. Not interested there. I would much rather play Ramondre Stevenson. For those of you who are wondering, Ramondre Stevenson did pass the concussion protocol and is expected to play today in the stead of Damian Harris. That is why I have Brandon Bolden currently, as you can look on the very left side of the screen, as my number 33 running back, while I have Ramondre Stevenson as my number 20 going into a half PPR scoring format. So for those of you interested, again, I would play Ramondre in that regard. Paul, appreciate the question. Matt sends in a question, says, is Elijah Moore even worth a start versus the Bills defense? Personally, I wouldn't say I don't think he's that bad. So where I currently have him, let me go check my half PPR rankings. In a half PPR, I have him at number 37. So he's just right off the list. I do have Corey Davis as the lone Jets receiver on today's top 36, mainly because He's an outside guy. If he can score a touchdown down in the red zone, similar to the way he did with Mike White, what was it, in that New England Patriots game when Zach Wilson originally went down, then maybe Corey Davis continues to find some overall productivity there. But in terms of Elijah Moore, again, it's a rookie wide receiver. He plays, he's a smaller guy. Yes, he plays on the outside sometimes, but predominantly plays a lot of slot reps. You still have Jameson Crowder there. I don't think it's worth it. Personally, I don't. So we'll just go ahead, hold on to him. Let's see how it goes, and then obviously look towards the future and finding better matchups in better days ahead. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that question, Matt. Bearded Skeptic sends in a question, says, Hawkinson or Freiermuth? I'm extremely torn, but leaning towards Hawkinson. Yeah, considering we do not see, or we will not have, we will not have Big Ben Roethlisberger at the quarterback position for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do think it's a little bit of a downgrade for Pat Freiermuth, so I'm certainly playing Hawkinson. Now, for those of you who do have Fryer, I'm not too worried to where I'm not starting him. That's not the case. Let's think about this offense. I think it's probably going to be Mason Rudolph starting, and the only receiving options outside of Deontay Johnson and Najee Harris out of the backfield, maybe James Washington getting a little bit more opportunity with Claypool out, is going to be Fryer. And I think it's an advantageous matchup, and he's been such a huge part of their offense in terms of just getting the ball to him down in the red zone. I'm not worried about him. But either way, in this regard, I would take TJ Hawkinson there. Bearded Skeptic, thank you. Ankit Patel, thank you very much. Says full PPR, flex, Darrell Williams, Jerry Jeudy, or Emmanuel Sanders. All right, let's go ahead and let me filter back to full PPR. Let's look at my flex rankings here. What do I have Darrell Williams in comparison to? Who's the other guy again? So it's Jerry. Okay, so Jerry Jeudy or Emmanuel. I'm pretty sure I have Jerry Jeudy ahead of Emmanuel Sanders in a full PPR. Let me confirm this. Full PPR, Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy is ahead of Emmanuel Sanders. So now it's just a matter of, is he ahead of Darrell Williams? Yeah, he's ahead of Darrell Williams. So I'd play Jerry Jeudy there. That is my suggestion for this week. I'd play Jeudy, Darrell Williams, Emmanuel Sanders in that exact order. Full PPR. Thank you very much, Ankit. Ben Power sends in a question. Thank you very much. Says, let me scroll back up. It just updated. Standard League, Gibson, Ramondre Stevenson, or Pitts. Wow. Here's the thing. I have enough confidence in Ramondre Stevenson based on the fact that this is a run-first offense. If the Patriots weren't so predicated on running the ball and protecting Mac Jones with the play action, then I would probably go with Pitts. But because there is such a incessant need for them to run the ball, and that's basically what this team has been built on for the last 2 years. I mean, going back to Cam Newton, and then obviously this year, the quarterback position isn't being asked to throw the ball very much. So right now, in a standard format, I would play Ramondre Stevenson. If there was a guarantee that Kyle Pitts would score a touchdown, I would probably lean in his direction. But again, it's ever elusive. It's tough to go ahead and predict, metrics like that. So for right now, I play Ramondre. Thank you very much, Ben. Appreciate it. Michael Williams sends in a question. Says PPR, start a running back in a flex. We have Mitchell, McKissick, Devontae Smith, or Hopkins. Okay, cool. I'm glad you brought up Hopkins because I'm sure many of you are wondering my thoughts on Hopkins earlier or later today. And then you have a follow-up question. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, so really quickly, let's talk about DeAndre Hopkins. The expectation is probably he's not going to play. Also, there are a couple other players that are quote-unquote game-time decisions. First and foremost, James Robinson. He could potentially not play. If he doesn't play this week in a half PPR scoring format, I wouldn't mind running Carlos Hyde as my number 31 overall running back against Indianapolis. Wouldn't mind it. Don't love it, but wouldn't mind it. Another game-time decision probably later is going to be, DeAndre Hopkins in that late window. Even if DeAndre Hopkins plays, he's still my number 22 wide receiver because he has Stephon Gilmore shadowing him the entire game. So that is an issue in itself, and probably Kyler doesn't play. From what I've read from Schefter, he has said that DeAndre Hopkins has the least likelihood amongst Rondale Moore, Kyler Murray, and himself of playing in today's game against the Carolina Panthers. So my assumption is we're not going to worry about him. So to answer your question in terms of starting a flex and a running back here, Michael Williams, I would play Mitchell at your running back position, and I would play J.D. McKissick as your flex. Thank you very much. As for your follow-up question, also PPR flex option, Melvin Gordon. We have J-Rob, we have Darrell Williams, Ramondre Stevenson, and Gallup. Of those available options, I'm going to play J-Rob if he's healthy and ready to go. If he isn't pulled prior to the game, we're fine. We're firing him up. Otherwise, you play with Melvin Gordon there, who's been consistent as of late. Thank you. All right, moving on. Tommy sends in a question. Says, Murray's out. Should I play Carr or Matty Ice? Okay, between the two quarterbacks in a 4-point per passing touchdown league up here, you'll see that I have Matt Ryan ahead of Derek Carr. Even if it is a 6-point per passing touchdown format, I think that there's a higher chance or higher likelihood of Matt Ryan eclipsing the 2 touchdown mark to get to that 3 range. So he would still be the current choice of mine going into week 10. So yes, I would play Matty Ice this week instead of Derek Carr. Thank you very much, Tommy. Appreciate that. Anonymous sends in a question. Says, sit 1, Judy, Melvin Gordon, Moss, Renfro, Ingram. I'm going to sit Moss in this regard. I think Ingram's a great play. So is Melvin Gordon. I think Jerry Judy playing in the slot, I think he's about 70, almost 80% of his snaps is fantastic. Of course, Cortland Sutton's going to be on an island with Darius Slay. Tim Patrick's on the other side of the field. Yes, dealing with some injuries, but I'm not too worried about it. It is going to be a game in which Judy probably gets himself a lot of work once again. And then if it's between Moss and Renfro, there is always a chance that Moss finds himself success against the Jets. But I don't know. I can't really trust this backfield of running backs for the Buffalo Bills. Let's talk about the last couple games that they've played. They've had really easy matchups, and their running backs don't show up. When you play against Jacksonville and you're not getting any points, it's just not worth it. I know someone in the chat, Chris Roberts, said Moss is injured. Yeah, he has been cleared to play. So that's why I have to mention him in this regard. But either way, I'm sitting Moss either way, mainly because I just don't trust the backfield and the opportunities that are at hand. Buffalo Anarchist sends in a question. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Should I replace Henry with someone? I'm assuming that's Hunter Henry. I got Jacobs and Lenny. Starting with Harris on the bench, I have Metcalf, Jefferson, Chase, and Lamb as my wide receivers. Should I try and trade for a better running back? Full PPR. I'm so confused. Should I try to replace Henry? Like Derrick Henry? Is that what you mean? If we're still talking about Derrick Henry, yeah, you should probably try to get a better running back. Absolutely, because he most likely, if he does come back, it would be in the final week of the season, and by then you may not even get there. So you need another running back. But you do have Jacobs, Lenny, and Harris, so you can survive until then. But if you think that your league is far more competitive and you're going to need more running back depth, then by all means, you should go ahead and make a play for another running back. Thank you very much. Someone in the chat says, why did Godwin go down in rating so much? Mainly because of his injury. He didn't practice the whole week, and that is super concerning. So there's always a chance that he goes into the game and then re-aggravates that injury, and then he's out. So I wanted to go ahead and just establish that I'd rather play the 12 other wide receivers ahead of him because they are such solidified wide receivers. I don't want to give away free points, right? I'd rather just play healthy guys that are in good matchups that I trust rather than Godwin, who may have the ability to, in one play, miss the rest of the game. So I just wanted to kind of move him down a little bit, but I still do trust him enough if he plays to be fine. Look, just practicing Friday doesn't, solidify him being a great option, especially when it's limited. The only concern is re-aggravation, and that is always going to be something that kind of makes me move him down the list. But again, there's no way or reason you should have more than 2 of those top 12 guys. If you do, then, play one in the flex, you'll be fine. All right, Chris sends in a question, says, Ricky Seals-Jones or Higbee this week? I'm going to play Ricky Seals-Jones playing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, I thought Logan Thomas would probably have a chance of going this week. That's not going to be the case. Tyler Higbee does get a little bit of a boost today with, Robert Woods, of course, taking that dive with the ACL injury. But I still prefer Ricky Seals-Jones half or full PPR. Thank you. Brandon West sends in a donation, but there wasn't a message attached to it. If I can't find your message in the chat, then we'll just have to continue to move on here. Brandon, is there any Brandon West in the chat? I see a bunch of Brandon Ayuk's in the live chat. Yeah, there's no messages from you, Brandon West. I appreciate you sending in a donation. There's just no message attached to it, and I don't see your name in the chat after I F3 function for find. Appreciate it though. Let's hear. Miles MC13 says, how much do you think Rudolph will affect Deontay? we've seen Rudolph have decent games. He's not the worst backup quarterback in the league, right? So it's not to a position where I'm 100% like, I have to sit Deontay Johnson. I think he's a little bit of a downgrade for sure, but like, who else are they going to throw the ball to? Like, in all honesty, who else are going to throw the ball to? Especially against Detroit's terrible defense. I still think that, Mason Rudolph is good enough to get the job done and get him enough fantasy points to where we're fine. It is risky, sure, but I'm not too concerned about it because, you go back to last season, Mason Rudolph had some pretty good performance. He had a good performance, week 17 against Cleveland's defense. Had himself 2 touchdowns, fine. Even in the year where Big Ben missed majority there, he had himself decent performances here and there. I'm sure he's a significantly better quarterback after the last couple of years of just learning. But I'm not too worried about it with Deontay. Thank you very much, Miles. Appreciate it. Moving on, we have Q Crew sending in a question. Says, pick 2, we have Ramondre, J.D. McKissick, Corey Davis. Thanks for everything, man. No problem. I would play Ramondre Stevenson and J.D. McKissick there. I would leave Corey Davis on the bench this week. Thank you very much, Q Crew. Paul sends in another question. Says, thoughts on Miles Sanders rest of the season? Picked him up off the waivers last week and hopefully start him in my flex. Full PPR, trade Emmanuel Sanders for OBJ, ? Full PPR or a wash. Here's the thing about Miles Sanders. Even when he returns, it's going to be a running back by committee, so I really can't trust him as a singular lone back as a flex option. So I wouldn't really count on that. As for Emmanuel Sanders or OBJ, I would rather have OBJ rest of season due to Woods being out. So yeah, if you can move Emmanuel Sanders for OBJ, I would. Garrett Botkin sends in a question. Says, full PPR, should I trade Cordero Patterson and McLaurin for Darrell Henderson, Devonta Smith, and Elijah Moore? I probably wouldn't. I'd keep Cordero Patterson and McLaurin, especially in a full PPR scoring format where Cordero Patterson is just finding so much viability in terms of being a receiving option. And in many leagues, he does have the kind of flexibility of being a running back / wide receiver. I just keep the Cordero spot there with McLaurin. Thank you, Garrett. Appreciate that. Chris sends in a question. Says, Carter, Kirk, Collins, or Howard? Half PPR. I would play Michael Carter there. I do think that Christian Kirk is better off this week than we originally anticipated earlier in the week, mainly because AJ Green is back. AJ Green will pull coverage from, what's his name? Stephon Gilmore. Christian Kirk could go back into the slot position and find some value there. So I have no problem there going with him, but for right now, I'm going to play Michael Carter. Appreciate that. Let me see here. Really quickly, we did this question, we did that, we did Paul, we did Matt. Okay, yep, Alan Keat, Powers, Michael, Buffalo, Chris, Miles, Q Crew, Paul, Garrett, Chris. Okay, cool. Skizzy sends in a question. Skizzy, half PPR, need a flex, Ayuk, Melvin Gordon, Michael Carter, or Dawson Knox. In a half PPR between those respective options, I would play Melvin Gordon. Thank you very much, Skizzy. Guys, again, for those of you sending in questions, I want to save you some money. I appreciate you sending it in my direction. But over here, the left side of the screen, updated half PPR rankings for the running back, wide receiver, tight end, and quarterback positions. So if you are wondering between Melvin Gordon and, for example, I know you had other options there at wide receiver that you needed clarity on, but between Melvin Gordon and Michael Carter, who have been the better options of those 4 respective players, Melvin Gordon, where is he sitting at? Number 18, and we have Michael Carter at 19. Yeah, it's close, but that is the way of figuring out what my specific opinion is and what my answer would be in that regard. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. PT Morris says, must win. Everyone's in a must-win situation, but I understand. I need a high ceiling flex. A.J. Dillon, Elijah Moore, or Russell Gage. I'm going to play Russell Gage there. That's just my opinion. I think A.J. Dillon has opportunities. He probably won't score, and that in itself kind of reduces his value because there's always going to be Aaron Jones lurking for that touchdown. Elijah Moore playing against Buffalo is not something that I'm interested in. I'd rather have Russell Gage in hopes that the Dallas Cowboys matchup is more of a shootout than a lot of people think, which I'm hoping is going to be the case this week. Thank you. Terrell Rice says, need a flex, Ayuk, Kirk, or Tyler Johnson. With Godwin probably playing today, I think Tyler Johnson becomes less of a priority as a play in comparison to what I originally thought, because again, didn't know what exactly Chris Godwin's essential status was. But from what we've heard this morning, he is expected to play and go. I would play Christian Kirk instead in your flex position. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Alif sends in a question, says PPR, full PPR, Fournette, Henderson, or so Fournette or Henderson. In a full PPR scoring format, I would rather play Leonard Fournette. Okay, so let's establish that first and foremost. I'm playing Leonard Fournette in a full PPR. Also, Arizona defense or the Rams. I would play Arizona's defense against Philip Walker, the backup quarterback for the Carolina Panthers this week. So yeah, I play Arizona defense. I would play Fournette. Thank you very much, Alif. Thank you. Appreciate that. Chris sends in a question. Where did it scroll down to? Let me go back up to Chris's question. Here we go. Chris says, would you trade Hendo for Barkley or Swift? I have Cook, Hendo, David Montgomery, and Michael Carter at this moment. Thank you for the excellent content. Rest of season, would I rather have Barkley, Swift, or Henderson? If we're sitting in a full PPR scoring format, I would rather have both of them over Henderson. So it doesn't matter which way you go about it. If you get Barkley or Swift, I'd rather have either of them over Henderson, rest of season full PPR. If it's a half PPR scoring format, I'd probably still want Barkley over him, but there's a lot of inherent risk there. So, tread lightly and understand that Barkley could show back up and get injured and really mess up your season. But you do have enough running back depth to where you can maybe risk it for the biscuit. Thank you. Phil sends in a question. Says, I need 2 running backs in a flex, all being running backs, Christian McCaffrey, James Conner, Josh Jacobs, Melvin Gordon. By the way, I hate having Conner on my bench with 40 points. Is he a must start at this point in the season, full PPR? I mean, he's only a must start when Chase Edmonds is gone. Like, that's really what it is. And then you also don't have Kyler, so the passing touchdown upside isn't as high for the respective team. So he is a stud with the potential of Chase Edmonds being out for multiple weeks. So yes, he is a must play in this regard. I would play Christian McCaffrey, James Conner, and Melvin Gordon. Actually, am I playing Melvin Gordon over Josh Jacobs? Where do I have in the rankings? Josh Jacobs slightly ahead of him because, again, Javonte Williams. But so for right now, Christian McCaffrey and James Conner are your 2 running backs, and then it's between Melvin Gordon and Josh Jacobs in that coin toss. But for right now, I would go with Josh Jacobs there. Appreciate that very much, Phil. Danny Show says, half PPR. My league has Cordero listed as a wide receiver. Should I play him over Godwin? Yeah. So I would 100. Okay. So for those of you, just flat out, I will say it. Maybe I got to start adding this. That's on me, guys. That's on me. I would play Cordero Patterson as my number 10 overall wide receiver. Okay. So I would play him ahead of Justin Jefferson, Pittman, Keenan Allen, Godwin. I'm not kidding. I would legitimately play him there in a half PPR, number 10. Okay. So for those of you who are like, he is just flat number 10 on both sides. Boom, boom. Running back and wide receiver. He's that valuable. So, I mean, in a full PPR, his overall upside is a little bit higher. But for right now, yeah, I mean, I would certainly play him over Godwin in the concerns there because it's just guaranteed points. Appreciate that, Danny. Michael sends in a question. Amato says, morning, Andy. I am a Woods casualty, and benched Bateman because of the co-GM's request for Ayuk. Can Ayuk match 14 fantasy points in a full PPR? Also, can Singletary put up a respectable stat line in a full PPR with Moss back? With Moss back, it's that much more difficult for us to get a guaranteed good stat line out of a Devin Singletary, but I will say that there's at least some hope in the matter because I think, 15 running backs have had 10 or more points against the Jets defense this season already. So, and the Jets have only played 8 games. So at least 2 per game on average. So if you can get both these running backs at least over 10 points, then sure, they can have respectable stat lines. It's mainly a matter of whether or not they're running the ball heavily in the second half or, if they're finding any, success in that regard. I don't know. Buffalo's just kind of weird when it comes to running the ball. As for playing Ayuk, yeah, you'll be fine. I mean, can he get 14 fantasy points in a full PPR? I think he's very capable of getting 6 catches for 60 yards. 12 is a pretty good spot. So if he's able to get there, I'm pretty happy with that, and I think you should be too. Thank you very much, Michael. Tim A sends in a question, says, full PPR, 1 flex, 1 wide receiver. We have Gibson, we have OBJ, we have Muth, Hilton, Patrick, and Peterson. All right, so we're not playing OBJ, we're not playing Peterson, so it's between Gibson, Muth, Hilton, and Patrick. In a full PPR scoring format, I'm going to avoid Gibson in that regard. So it's between Muth, Hilton, Patrick. I'm going to play most likely. Let's go with both those wide receivers. Let's play Patrick and Hilton at your flex and wide receiver spot there. Timmy, appreciate that. Gage says Zach Moss or Adam Thielen, flex half PPR. I'm playing Adam Thielen. It's not even close in my eyes. I just can't trust Buffalo running backs, guys. I trust them enough if I'm desperate where I need to play them over, Ty Johnson, Antonio, where am I? Where do I have him at? Kenyon Drake, Antonio Gibson, Ty Johnson, AJ Dillon, Mike Davis, etc. But I'm not getting to the position where I'm starting him over an Adam Thielen. No shot. Thank you. Jesse sends in a question. Says Drake, Landry, Ramondre, or Dalton Schultz in a full PPR scoring format. Really good question. I think it's safe to say that it's between Ramondre Stevenson and Jarvis Landry. Sure, there is potential for Dalton Schultz to get work as we progress throughout the week. But, I mean, it's nothing guaranteed. Same thing with Drake. Drake could be great, but again, it's a couple weeks of him showing up and playing well. But if the opportunity kind of dips out and the floor disappears there in terms of him getting receptions, because it is a closer matchup. I mean, last week they were losing to the Giants. There's a reason why Drake was getting so many receptions, and so was Josh Jacobs, because they had to come back. The check down was often open. So between Landry and Ramondre Stevenson, full PPR. If you want just safety, just a net floor, I would play Landry. If you're looking for the higher upside and the touchdown upside in that, you go with Ramondre. If it's my team, it's a matter of just looking at your team up and down and thinking, what do I need this week? Do I need, just a safe floor, get me 10 points, get me 12 points? Or do I have to push for that 16 kind of upside? I honestly typically I go with floor just to be safe, but that's my suggestion at this point. Thank you. Shadi Ibrahim sends in a question, says, at my RB2, we have Bolden, Ty Johnson, or Hyde if Robinson doesn't play, or even Nyheim Hines. At the flex, whoever is left from the list above, Robbie or Fant. Thanks, Familia. No problem. In terms of who I'm playing at your RB2 position of the respective running backs that are available, it is tough, especially when we're talking about Bolden and Ty Johnson. They're pretty much the same kind of running back. It's just a matter of, who's going to get the more targets this week. I'm probably just going to play Ty Johnson. There's always garbage time for him available. And then if it's between the other respective players, Fant and Bolden, who would be my top two for your flex option, at that point, I'm probably just playing Noah Fant. So I'd play Ty Johnson and Fant, and that's where I would go with. Shadi, appreciate that. Jinku sends in a question. Says, half PPR, missing a bunch of people this week and need to pick up one tight end and a flex between Goddard, Muth, and we have Noah Fant, Devin Singletary, Kenyon Drake. Thanks, brother. No problem. All right, Jinku. So let's see what we can do here. In terms of your tight end position, of the available options, I want to play Noah Fant there. So that's probably about, actually, no, you have Muth. So yeah, we're playing Muth. You'll play at tight end. And in terms of your flex option, what is this, half PPR? Let me go check my half PPR rankings. Do I have one of these tight ends above a running back here? So we have Noah Fant. Where the heck do I have him on these? Okay, so Noah Fant's right here. He is ahead of Ty Johnson. And then who was the other option that you mentioned? Kenyon Drake. I think he might be lower than him. Let me check this. Where do I have Kenyon Drake on this list? I have to search function. Drake is just below Noah Fant as well. Okay, so I'm playing both tight ends. Jinku, I would play Freiermuth at your tight end spot, and I would play Noah Fant in your flex. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. TFG Beats says, PPR, pick 2. We have Darrell Williams, Javonte Williams, or Van Jefferson. I almost said Justin Jefferson. Of the available options, I'm playing both those running backs. I would play Darrell Williams, and I would play Javonte Williams. Thank you very much, TFG Beats. Doza says, full PPR, Melvin Gordon or Cole Beasley? Really good question. I'm probably going to play Melvin Gordon just off of, the overall upside that he's found as of late. But my goodness, is Cole Beasley a good play because just the volume of receptions he's getting. So for right now, I'm very comfortable just rolling with Melvin Gordon. You have another good option there if you want to switch. But yeah, Gordon's in a good spot against Philly this week. So you're good to go. All right, so we have the upper decks saying survival pick. Steelers, Bills, or Cowboys. Thank you for the content. If I have to pick one of them to win this week, I'd pick the Bills. I think that the Cowboys could somehow find a way to lose. It's not like the Atlanta Falcons are a bad team. They're a 4-4 football team. They're 500 this season. The Steelers, without their starting quarterback, I could see them losing somehow, some way to the 0-8 Lions, which would be unfortunate. But again, the Lions have been preparing for 2 weeks here for this matchup because they were on a bye. So hopefully they're ready. Outside of that, yeah, I'm playing the Bills against the Jets, and I'm expecting them to win in your survivor picks there. Appreciate it, Upper Decks. FF sends in a question. Says standard trade offer. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. Waller, Godwin for Montgomery, Fant, and Julio. Julio's on injured reserve. Waller, okay. My other running backs are Carter, Devontae Freeman, Ingram, McKissick. We have Miles Sanders, Derrick Henry. My wide receivers are Mike Williams, Sutton, Chase Claypool. To be totally honest, I think trading away Waller and Godwin actually hurts you more than it helps you. In my total line, yeah, I think it actually does hurt you more than it helps you. So for right now, I probably, because you don't need Noah Fant if you're going to have Hunter Henry. You don't need Julio Jones because he's not going to play. So if you're making a 2-for-1 Godwin and Waller for Montgomery, I'd rather just have Godwin and Waller the rest of the season and just roll with that. I think you can get a better trade from another team maybe because you don't need those extra other pieces, Fant and Julio back. So maybe it may adjust the trade and maybe only have you sending Waller and another subpar piece and another running back in exchange for it. But I mean, if you get away with sending, I don't know, Mark Ingram and Waller for Montgomery, then try to pull some swindly stuff like that. Thank you very much, F. I appreciate that. Goody Sons sends it a question. Says full PPR. We have tight end Noah Fant or Fryer Muth. I'd play Fryer. We have defense Cowboys or the Saints. Where do I have the Saints defense? I have New Orleans just behind the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm playing the Dallas Cowboys defense there. And then we have RB2, Robinson or Hyde. And then we have Jordan Howard. So I play Robinson. If, in fact, Robinson doesn't play, you just play Jordan Howard in that regard. But again, he would be established not to play prior to the game even beginning. So probably that won't happen, and you're going to play Robinson. Pick 2 for wide receiver 3. In a flex, we have Judy, Emmanuel Sanders, Howard, or Gallup. In a, what is the scoring format? Full PPR, I would play Judy and Emmanuel Sanders there in your wide receiver 3 and your flex position there. Goody, appreciate that. Thank you. Ryan Medina sends in a question. Says, quick question. Do I start Darrell Williams or Cole Beasley as my flex? If it's a half PPR scoring format, I'm playing Darrell Williams. If it's a standard, it's Darrell Williams. Full PPR. In a full PPR scoring format, do I play Cole Beasley? Yeah, I play Cole Beasley in a full PPR. Thank you. Jeef says, full PPR, Ingram or Lockett? Great question. Holy moly. I think I'm going to play Ingram there. Mainly because Lockett is such an inconsistent prospect to an extent. And there are just some weeks where he disappears. But, where do I have Ingram in my full PPR rankings? Where art thou? Ingram's right there. And then we have Lockett, a little bit lower. Yeah, I'm still going to play Ingram. Mainly because in terms of total receptions, Ingram's in that category. In terms of touchdown upside, still in that category. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Phil says, Ian Rappaport says Robinson is playing. Great. Awesome. Johnny in the chat says, why no mention of A.J. Green? Mainly because of Stephon Gilmore. Lockdown corner, former defensive NFL MVP, defensive player of the year, excuse me. I think it was the 2019 season that he was. I mean, he's not too many seasons removed, and he has been killing it this year. He's only allowed 2 receptions in the 2 games that he's played. So he would be covering the best receiver on the opposing side, which in this case would be A.J. Green, which I'm not too interested in rolling out there with Colt McCoy at quarterback. Thank you. Cosmo sends in a question, says, pick 2, Ramondre Stevenson, OBJ, or Brandon Ayuk. I'm going to avoid OBJ this week. Again, he isn't going to be as utilized as much as we think. He will get some opportunities in punt returns, a couple packages, but ultimately, I think the better pays are Ramondre Stevenson and Brandon Ayuk for you this week. Thank you very much, Cosmo. Big DLY23 says, love the content, man. Had Gesicki in the flex. Yeah, look, here's a suggestion that I'll make. Never play a flex player on Thursday. That is the worst thing that you could possibly do for your team, mainly because if in fact an injury is to happen after the Thursday game, which may force you in a situation where you have to go ahead and swap players out and have that flex position or that availability of playing a flex, whether it is running back, wide receiver, or tight end, you would want to do that. So typically, if you're going to play a tight end on a Thursday night game, play them in your tight end starting position and then have the other person in your flex just in case, okay? But either way, yeah, Mike Gesicki killed all of us. Derek Just says, in a flex full PPR, Beasley, Gage, Ayuk. I would play Beasley there. Thank you very much, Derek Just. Matthew Correa says, pick 2, full PPR. We have Van Jefferson, Christian Kirk, or Javonte Williams, J.D. McKissic. Wow, great question. Pick 2 in a full PPR. Do I want to play Christian Kirk over any of these options? Because to be honest, I think I want to go with both of those. Yeah, I think I want to go with both the running backs. I play Javonte and McKissic there. Thank you very much, Matthew. Dave Ports, number 1, Dave Portnoy, says full PPR. Sit 1, Zach Moss, Alex Collins, or Donovan Peoples-Jones. Oh, man. I think I'm going to sit Donovan Peoples-Jones. Look, I think he's a good wide receiver. I think he has a lot of upside, but it's against Bill Belichick. He's going to probably try to lock down anything outside, and then they'll just focus on stopping the run. So I'd probably play Zach Moss, and I'd play Alex Collins. I'd leave Peoples-Jones on the bench. Really quickly, as I'm answering questions, just wanted to reiterate and mention again to all of you, everything to the left side of the screen is updated rankings as of today, this morning, half PPR scoring format. You will not see names like DeAndre Hopkins there or Kyler Murray there because, again, I don't anticipate them playing this afternoon in the afternoon slate of games against the Carolina Panthers. Also, if you are looking to try to figure out, okay, Andrew, who do you prefer, Cordero Patterson or D'Ernest Johnson in a half PPR? Boom, it's on screen right there. Cordero at 10, D'Ernest at 12. Either way, hopefully this helps you out. If you're looking for a flex question, of course, I will be answering some donations that are sent in. Hopefully, if you're not able to send anything in, no problem. Don't worry about it. Hopefully, I can answer your question via somebody else's and make a little bit more, give you more clarity in regards to where you should go this upcoming week. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let's get going back into here. We have Molly G says, full PPR. Need 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and 1 flex. We have DeAndre Swift, Darrell Henderson, Chris Godwin, DK Metcalf, CeeDee Lamb. Thanks in advance. Wow, you're making this really difficult on me, aren't you? In a full PPR scoring format, between these available options, if we're playing only 3 of these 5, oh man, dude, you're gonna really, you're going for the jugular for me. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm starting majority of those wide receivers. So in regards, let's see here, flex, full PPR, where are we at here? So we are playing Swift along with, who else do we have here? Lamb. Okay, so in a full PPR flex, I'm playing Swift, I'm playing Henderson, and I'm playing Metcalf. And I'm leaving Godwin on the bench, and I'm leaving CeeDee Lamb on the bench, which absolutely is disgusting, but I prefer running backs in a full PPR. And that's what I'm just going to go with. Thank you very much, Malaji. Appreciate that. Rob M says full PPR. Devin Singletary, J.D. McKissic, Ramondre Stevenson. In a full PPR, where do I have Ramondre in comparison to J.D. McKissic? Let's see here. J.D. McKissic sits at number 22, and Ramondre's at number 20. So, yeah, I'm still playing Ramondre Stevenson there. I'm not playing Devin Singletary. So, I go Stevenson, McKissic, Devin Singletary in that order, Rob. Appreciate it. William sends in a question, says, should I flex Judy or Fant full PPR? I would flex Jerry Judy there. Thank you very much, William. Appreciate it. Michael Becker sends in a question, says, Van Jefferson or Dalton Schultz, tight end premium? If you're getting 1.5 per reception, catches the ball, 5 times this week, what are we going to see there? 7.5 points minimum, and gets him about, 40 receiving yards, has the upside of a touchdown. Yeah, I don't actually mind Dalton Schultz in a tight end premium. Damn, that is actually a good question. Do I want to play? The tight end premium really does mess with it a bit. So let's say, for example, Dalton Schultz is able to catch himself, seriously, 5 catches, 40 yards, gets himself over 10 points. Can Van Jefferson do that? Like just outright with Robert Woods gone this week? I'm thinking he probably can. Yeah, let's go with Van Jefferson. Thank you very much. All right, let's see here. Really quickly, another reminder, guys. There's 1,000 of you in here. If you guys could, I know seems like it's very insignificant, but clicking the like button down below certainly does help this channel grow, makes a huge difference. So if you have not yet already, click the like button down below. Again, if you haven't checked out Underdog Fantasy, it's another way to play fantasy football, whether it is pick'em slips, whether it is Sunday drafts, a lot of things to help yourself win money. For those of you who are trying to play fantasy football outside of your respective leagues, you can sign up today using promo code Andrew. If in fact you do so, Underdog Fantasy is willing to match up to $100 of your first deposit. Again, it's extremely generous for those of you who are looking to play the underdog way. All right, let's see here. Marty sends in a question, says Deebo Samuel or George Kittle in the flex. Love your channel. Man, I contemplated this question multiple times today. I'm still playing Deebo Samuel. Yeah, I'm playing Deebo. Dude, I don't want to, but dude, can you play both, please? Like, just play Kittle. No. I do have Deebo higher in my rankings. Okay? That is just what I have. But, dude, you have to play George Kittle. You have to. I mean, how are you not playing George Kittle? He's going to kill it. Jiminy Christmas. Like, he's just going to kill it. All right, so let's see here. Luke O'Reilly sends in a question. Says, standard one. Okay, so wait, what is it? Oh, sorry. Start 1 of 1, full PPR, Hunter Henry, Jarvis Landry, Sutton, Jones. Okay, so who the heck is Jones? Donovan Peoples-Jones? I think that's what you meant. I would play Jarvis Landry over the other, options there. Oh, you have Hunter Renfrow. It's not Hunter Henry. It's Hunter Renfrow, Jarvis Landry, Donovan Peoples. Okay. So in that regard, I would play Hunter Renfrow. So you play Renfrow there, and then for Buffalo or Arizona defense, I would rather play Buffalo. Buffalo is my number 1 defense. Arizona is my number 2. Thank you. Let's see here. Where are we at? Okay, cool. So moving on. Let's see here. EJ Rodriguez sends in a question. Let's see what exactly EJ. Wow, there's where did I lose the question? How did I lose the question? Okay. Salutations. Thank you very much. Full PPR. Melvin Gordon and DJ Moore. I'm playing Melvin Gordon this week. Thank you very much, EJ. Vladimir sends in a question. Says Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins, Christian Kirk, or Zach Moss. I'd play Jalen Hurts and I'd play Christian Kirk. Thank you. Steven says, would you trade OBJ for Javonte Williams? If you don't need wide receiver depth, that could be top 24, esque. I mean, I imagine that OBJ will be as good as Robert Woods has been in the last 4 or 5 weeks. So if you don't need that on your team, then sure, you can make the risky play and try to get Javonte and see if he'll blow up in the late half of the season. Ex-Goat Eli sends in a question, sends in a donation, but there's no question attached to it. And if typically there's no message attached, I can't do anything about it. I appreciate you sending that in. But yeah, there wasn't a message attached to your donation. Appreciate it. David Reynolds says, Devonta Smith or Pat Freiermuth, flex full PPR. I would play Devonta Smith. Thank you. 916 Chaos Lord says, Freiermuth, OBJ, Jeff Wilson. I play Fryer there. Thank you. Sander sends in a question. Clemenson says, Darrell Williams or Van Jefferson, half PPR. I would play Darrell Williams there. Thank you. Jovel sends in a question. Says, good morning. Full PPR flex. McLaurin, Deontay Johnson, Ingram in the start. Okay, so between those 3 options, I want to play Deontay. I'll probably just play Mark Ingram there just to be safe. And as for your tight end, Fryer or Arnold, in a full PPR, I'd still play Fryer. Thank you. Meep sends in a question. Brandon Bolden or James Robinson? I would play James Robinson. Thank you. Alexander Robinson says, Muth or Ayuk? Good question. Oh, man, Muth or Ayuk? I'd probably play Ayuk there. Thank you. The Outlaw says, with Stevenson now active, would you play Brandon Bolden in PPR or too risky? Need a flex between Bolden and Jacoby Myers. If I'm picking one, I mean, I don't mind Brandon Bolden because, again, he probably will see some sort of semblance of work. As to what capacity, that is really the question. So I probably just play Jacoby Myers to be safe. But, again, Jacoby Myers hasn't been, technically safe. Let me see here. What are his exact snap counts? Like, I'm pretty sure Jacoby Myers is not coming off the field, but his targets, like last week, had 4 targets, 1 catch, man. Like, I get it. He had Stephon Gilmore on him. So it really isn't that big of a surprise. So let's say technically with his last couple weeks here, right? Jacoby Myers has been 5 for 44, 4 for 56, 5 for 44, 4 for 36. In a full PPR, he could probably get you 10 points. Brandon Bolden very similarly can do the same. I think I'd rather just play the wide receiver because in terms of the matchup against Cleveland, I'd rather just play a guy out wide than in the backfield because typically that defense swarms the backfield pretty well. Appreciate that, Outlaw. King Prell says choose 2 in a flex: Sutton, Kirk, Van Jefferson. So choose 2 at the flex. Excuse me. So I'm playing Christian Kirk and I'm playing Van Jefferson. I am benching Sutton this week. Thank you, Kyle. Strobel sends in a question. Says need to win this week: Titans or Dallas defense? I think I currently have Titans ahead of Dallas. Let me go ahead and confirm this. Yeah, I have the Titans defense ahead of Dallas this week, so that's what I would do. I'd play Titans. Thank you very much, Kyle. Gerardo Hernandez sends in a question. Says pick 2, full PPR. We have Dan Arnold, Khalif Raymond, Alex Collins. Need upside. I'd play Dan Arnold and I would play Alex Collins there. I don't really trust Khalif Raymond. I mean, there's a potential where he could find some value, but he's just been far too inconsistent for me to suggest him as a play. I just can't, with all my heart, confidently tell you to play him. Abdul sends in a question. Full PPR: Brandon Bolden, Tyler Johnson, Eno Benjamin, Elijah Mitchell, or Knox. Of the available players that you've mentioned, it's between Elijah Moore and Brandon Bolden. If I'm picking one over the other, I'm probably I probably play Brandon Bolden there. I think Dawson Knox is a decent option, but in a full PPR, if the guy only catches the ball twice, he really isn't going to do that much work or damage. Appreciate it, Abdul. Matthew sends in a question, but there's no message attached to it. Let me see if I can find it in the chat. Nothing there. Yeah, there's nothing attached to it, and there's nothing in the chat with your name. So appreciate that, Matthew. But yeah, you guys got, again, if you guys are sending in donations, please make sure that your message is attached to it. Yeah, that's, because the chat is so quick and it just rolls through so quickly, it's almost impossible for me to find the message again because it just updates and makes an entire new message stock. So yeah, I can't find it. Either way, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Damon Smith, thank you very much. Says pick 1 full PPR. You always come with generous donations. I appreciate that, man. Ramondre Stevenson, OBJ, Javonte Williams. I'm playing Ramondre, Javonte, OBJ in that order. So Ramondre Stevenson, full PPR is my suggestion. Thank you. Cosmo says pick 2 half PPR. We have Ramondre, OBJ, Ayuk. I'm playing Ramondre and Ayuk. Thank you very much, Cosmo. Nick sends in a question, says, do I trade Waller for Knox and Judy? I probably wouldn't. I think I'd rather just have Waller going forward, Nick. Because mainly, look, Dawson Knox, though he could have value, he is purely, dependent of touchdowns. While Waller will eventually score himself some touchdowns, he really is just a receiving yards guy, and he'll be fine in that regard. Unless you desperately need a wide receiver, I don't think you need Judy to be on your roster. I just keep Waller there. Abhishek V says, league winning, question mark. I'm 8-1, half PPR. I have Jalen Hurts, Kupp, Lockett, Eckler, Kittle, D'Ernest Johnson. My bench is Deontay Johnson, Antonio Brown, Miles Sanders, Michael Carter, and Henry. Is this a league winning team? Maybe for your league, but I have a hard time thinking you can win a league without, just purely off of 2 players. Like Eckler and Kupp can win the league, sure, but Michael Carter has to be like that. He is the X factor. If Michael Carter doesn't show up in the fantasy playoffs, you're going to be in trouble. That's the entire thing. If Michael Carter shows up, you'll be fine. Thank you very much, Abhishek. RZ King sends in a donation, but there's no message attached. Okay, so you put in another one later on. It says AP versus New Orleans or Lockett in the snow at the flex. I would still play Lockett, honestly, because I just can't trust AP. I can't trust running backs versus New Orleans, much less AP of all of them. Appreciate that. Greg Lira sends in a question. Who is Deontay Harris and why his projection? Okay, his projections are that high mainly because in the last 2 weeks, Deontay Harris for the New Orleans Saints, with Trevor Siemian at quarterback, I think he has seen, was it 8 targets, 7 targets, but in that 7-target game, he had only 6 games. Okay, so he's had 14 targets in the last 2 weeks from Trevor Siemian. I looked into it. Don't worry. I've done my due diligence with all these receivers. So in terms of Deontay Harris, 14 targets in the last 2 games. They get to play against the defense like the Tennessee Titans, that their secondary, I mean, they've been playing better in the last couple weeks, but there's always a potential of Deontay Harris having success because, again, he's the most targeted wide receiver of that group. That being said, Traquan Smith, Marquez Callaway, Kenny Stills, all three of those guys are scoring while Deontay Harris is kind of just playing punt returns, catching a couple passes here and there, dropping a couple passes. It's just so hard to predict which Saints wide receiver is going to be number one. I just have Callaway there because he's just been the number one for all season long in terms of snaps, targets, etc. But either way, Deontay Harris is an option if you're in a deeper league there, Greg. Gucci Han Louis Han says, Andrew, my guy, love the streams and the input. Second season, trying to take it all. Mahomes with Tyreek Hill tonight or Russell Wilson? Oh, man. I think I have to play Russell Wilson. I mean, look, man, do I want to play Mahomes? Dude, it's gonna kill me if Mahomes has another bad week. You know what I mean? Like, it'll legitimately crush my heart. Let me see here. I gotta check something. Let me see this NFL weather here. So, because someone said snow game. Let me see here. Where's the Green Bay contest? I mean, it just says 38 overcast. It doesn't really say snow technically. The only game that actually has weather concerns is Pittsburgh with 40 degrees, possible drizzle. Outside of that, everything is relatively cloudy or clear or in a dome stadium. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to play Russell Wilson on the return game instead of Patrick Mahomes. I don't want to get burnt, man. I just don't. So, yeah, I'm just going to roll with Russell Wilson tonight. Anthony sends in a question. Says, full PPR, Woods casualty, picked up Van Jefferson, but also have Ayuk as my wide receiver 3. Also have Patrick, but already have Judy in the lineup with A.J. Brown. Okay, cool. So if it's between Van Jefferson and Brandon Ayuk, I would rather play Van Jefferson this week if you're able to. Otherwise, you're good to go with Judy and A.J. Brown there. And you'll be fine. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Anthony. Dark says, Carter, Van Jefferson, Beasley, flex half PPR. I would play Michael Carter there. Thank you very much, Dark. Let me scroll back up here. Where are we at? Okay. Did I miss anything? Let me scroll up a little bit, see if I missed any questions. We did that one. We did that. Okay, cool. We're on track. Okay. So we have what is this name? Sleazy? Sleazy says, half PPR. Drake, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Myers, Moss, or Ayuk. In a half PPR, I'm probably just... oh, man. I don't want to play Moss, dude. I don't want to. I mean, I probably will have to in some scenarios, but I don't want to. So, of those available players, I just go with Ayuk. KJ says, Alex Collins, Brandon Bolden, Kenyon Drake, full PPR. All right, let me check this. I'm pretty sure I still have Alex Collins ahead of Kenyon Drake. Let me confirm. Alex Collins, 24. Kenyon Drake, 25. I'm still playing Alex Collins there this week. Full PPR. Thank you very much, KJ. Yoel sends in a question, says, 14 teams. We have half PPR, super flex. In my wide receiver 2, do I play Tim Patrick or Elijah Moore? I prefer Tim Patrick, just more consistency over his season thus far. Obviously, he doesn't have to take on a extremely difficult matchup like Buffalo this week. Justin sends in a question, says full PPR, third wide receiver, AJ Green or Cortland Sutton? I don't like either of them, but I would rather play Cortland Sutton. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Perry Paul says half PPR, flex from Ramondre Stevenson or Cole Beasley. I'd play Stevenson there. Thank you. Joshua Pippen says full PPR, Ramondre, J.D. McKissick, Gibson, or Mike Williams. I would rather play Mike Williams over the bunch there. Thank you very much, Joshua. Landon Ramirez says Knox, Van Jefferson, Christian Kirk. Which of the two would you start? I would play both the wide receivers. So I play Christian Kirk and Van Jefferson there, Landon. As for also, we have Ty Johnson and Eno Benjamin. Between Ty Johnson and Eno Benjamin, I'd play Ty Johnson. My RR/out list looks better. CH, Ridley, Hopkins, thanks. Yeah, no, you're good to go. Yeah, but yeah, your IR team is actually just significantly more of a threat once they're healthy. But for right now, Van Jefferson, Christian Kirk, start those two, and then Ty Johnson is your other option. Jonathan sends it a question. Flex, Darrell Williams, Adam Thielen, or Mark Ingram? I would play Mark Ingram over the bunch. Thank you very much. What do we have here? Jacinto sends in a question, says, which two, Moss, Goddard, or Van Jefferson? I'm probably going to play Moss and Jefferson there. I'd love to play Goddard, but I don't think he's going to be better than Moss this week. So I play Moss and Jefferson. Thank you. RZ King says, okay, we did RZ King's question from earlier. We would not play Lockett. We would play, we would not play AP. We would play Lockett against Green Bay. Dre Day Reviews says, is Robinson playing? Yes, he is playing. Do not worry about him. He's good to go. Brandon sent in a donation, but there wasn't a message attached to it. Let's hope. Okay, Brandon says in the chat, full PPR flex, Jerry Jeudy, Hunter Renfrow, or James Robinson. Of the available options, I would play James Robinson if he's healthy and ready to go. And he is, so I'm going to go with him. The next best option would be Jerry Jeudy, but for right now, I feel more confident just starting the starting running back of the Jaguars. Thank you. We have Michael Santos sending in a question, says, Stevenson versus Fant. Flex full PPR. I would rather play Stevenson. Stevenson will catch the ball out of the backfield. He has done that already this season. He has proven that he is capable of doing that, and that, of course, he is in that opportunity. So, for right now, I'm just going to go with the starting running back. Run him out there. Good to go. Chris Curry sends in a question. He sent in a donation, but there's no question attached to it. Let me see if I can find it in the chat. Chris Curry says, Lockett or Dernis Johnson in a half PPR. I would rather play Dernis Johnson. Thank you very much there, Chris. No Till DLY, or DYL, excuse me. Says Ayuk, Agnew, Gallup, full PPR. I would play Ayuk. I mean, in reality, is Gallup a play? Probably not, unless you're really risking it or you have some sort of insider information, but I'm not interested in that regard in any capacity. Somebody just asked in the chat, where's Ridley on the list? Ridley is on the injured reserve, so yeah, he's not playing. He hasn't been playing for the last couple of weeks, my guy. But I'm glad you're here. Interesting. Ayuk and Agnew, I mean, look, Agnew he doesn't have the upside of a touchdown, and that's purely what it is. So in that regard, I'm just going to play Ayuk. Thank you. Colin Smith says, Gibson, Landry, or Hilton, half PPR. Honestly, I mean, I want to play Gibson. I probably can't, so I'm just going to play Landry there. I play Landry. Thank you. Brandon says, full PPR, James Robinson, Mitchell, or Renfrow. In a full PPR, if I'm picking two, I'm playing both the running backs. I'd play James Robinson and Elijah Mitchell there. Thank you very much. Will Lane says, half PPR. Flex Deontay Johnson, Ingram, Javonte Williams, so between those three options and a half PPR, I'm most likely just going to roll with Mark Ingram. As for Noah Fant and Dallas Goedert, I'd play Noah Fant against the other team, which, I mean, they're playing each other, but yeah, I'd play Fant. Jesse Guevara says, pick two non-PPR. We have Jordan Howard, Michael Carter, Melvin Gordon. In a non-PPR scoring format, I'm still playing Melvin Gordon. That is a guarantee. Between Jordan Howard and Michael Carter, if you're not getting any points per reception and Michael Carter doesn't score a touchdown, is he even a viable enough option? Yeah, I probably, Yeah, let's play Jordan Howard. I play Gordon and Howard there. Thank you very much, Jesse. Kyle D says standard, Michael Carter, Jordan Howard, Alex Collins. Same scenario. Probably going to avoid Michael Carter in that regard. Jordan Howard, Alex Collins. Thank you, Kyle. Gank XU24 says, pick two full PPR. Mike Davis, Alex Collins, Jordan Howard, Ty Johnson, Dallas Goedert, Michael Gallup. Okay. Of the available options that you've mentioned, I'm going to play Alex Collins. I'm going to follow that up in a full PPR with Ty Johnson. So Alex Collins, Ty Johnson, those are the two I'd play there. Gank XU, thank you. Where are we at? Okay, really quickly before we continue, just want to remind all of you who are in the chat, I appreciate you guys being here. Hopefully by answering some of these questions that are sent in via donation, it'll help you get more clarity as to who you should play this week. If that doesn't help, we have, of course, the rankings on screen over here in terms of our top 36 running back rankings, wide receiver, top 16 quarterback, and tight end updated as of this morning. So again, everything will not be, I mean, the players from Thursday's game are not included up there. The players that have been, deemed out for this upcoming week, Alvin Kamara, Damian Harris, Nick Chubb, Julio Jones, Robert Woods, they are not involved on that list and are not there. So hopefully that helps you guys out. For those of you who are looking in that direction for, trying to figure out whether I'm starting or sitting specific players over one another. Thank you. All right. I need to go ahead. I need to do some stuff real quick here. Okay. A couple more questions were sent in. Armando sends in a question, says, full PPR, Patrick or Chenault? I would rather play Tim Patrick this week. Chenault just has not seen enough targets, nor has he been reliable enough for me to, in any regard, trust him with my team's life this week. If he wants to start scoring points, in the near future, then by all means, that'll be fantastic. But I don't know if it's, I don't know if I'm in a scenario where I'm trusting him. Yeah, just not yet. Carlos Ruiz sends in a question. Full PPR flex, Devonta Smith, OBJ, Schultz, or Sutton? I played Devonta Smith there. Thank you very much, Carlos. Soothing Music says, start 2, Jerry Jeudy, Ramondre Stevenson, J.D. McKissic, Emmanuel Sanders. If we're talking about a half PPR scoring format, I am most likely playing Ramondre and J.D., actually. So that's what I'm going to go with. Ramondre, J.D. McKissic, start them both, half PPR. Let's get it. KJ says, Diggs, Jefferson, Pittman, Deebo Samuel, full PPR, pick 3. Why? Why have you done this to me? Do you like to see me suffer? Because that's exactly what you're going to do. In a full PPR scoring format, Diggs is a must-play. I think Deebo Samuel is a must-play. As for Jefferson and Pittman, that's the biggest toss-up. I'm pretty sure I have Jefferson lower in a full PPR. I'm not even kidding. I have Jefferson at 12. I have Pittman at 10. I have Keenan at 11. I have Deebo at 8. I have Diggs at 5. So who else was missing in this list? We have Diggs. We have Deebo. We have Pittman. Yeah, Jefferson's my last guy there. So that's what I'd go with. I would sit Jefferson, which hurts. But again, it's the Chargers matchup, which scares me a little bit. Alfredo sends in a question. Let me see sends in a donation. There wasn't a question attached to it. Maybe I could find it, Alfredo Salazar. Let's see here. It says, trade Zeke and Pitts for Josh Allen? No. Why would you do that? I don't understand. I don't know the context of your question. Like, is this, what kind of league is this? You get 1,000 points for, passing touchdowns? Like, in no reality of a regular standard half full PPR league in which you play one quarterback and you get the normal amount of points for typically everything, 1 point for every 10 rushing or receiving yards, 1 point for every 25 passing yards, 4 points per passing touchdown. In no reality am I ever trading away Zeke and Pitts for Josh Allen. So I don't know as to the grander scheme or the macro look at how your league is, but for right now, in a vacuum, I would just say absolutely not. You would rather have Zeke and Waller. Zinc 560, thank you very much, says, greetings, Andrew. Titans or Colts? I'd rather play the Titans defense. And Renfro or Kenyon Drake in the flex standard format. Between the two, I think Renfro probably has a little bit more upside. Thank you very much there, Zinc. Michael sends in a question, says, I have Jeff Wilson, as a handcuff to Elijah Mitchell, but how much does he eat into Mitchell's production with Hasty out, especially in the red zone and goal line? I'm not worried about it. I mean, last week, he literally didn't play. It almost seems like Elijah Mitchell, in the eyes of Kyle Shanahan, is the end-all be-all at their running back position. Unless he is not playing, Sermon and Jeff Wilson will probably get very minimal work, if any. I mean, they may not even get any touches, which they have in the last couple weeks. So for right now, yeah, I'm not too worried about it there, Michael. Gunmai sends, Andrew, I lost Damian Harris, so I need to flex OBJ or Van Jefferson. I play Van Jefferson this week. Thank you very much, Gunmai. Mad Regin sends in a question, says, full PPR, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. We have Javonte Williams, AP, Stevenson, Lenny, Josh Jacobs. Okay, so cool. So this is what we're going to do, Mad. We're going to start Leonard Fournette. We're going to start Josh Jacobs. Those are your 2 starting running backs. As for wide receiver, I play Diggs and Jefferson. And then for your flex position, it is going to be Ramondre Stevenson. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Matt. No Till, DYL, says full PPR, flex, Ayuk, Gallup, Agnew, Ramondre, Mike Davis, Pollard. I play Stevenson. I mean, listen, guys, if Damian Harris was in and playing, I would play him in that. I'd even think, actually, I would have Damian Harris higher in my rankings. But I just value the starting running back for the Patriots that much. That's why we've had this conversation for Ramondre all day long. It has just been a consistent wheel of me suggesting him because that offense just runs the ball the entire time. That's all they do. They rarely throw the ball at a high volume, and even when they do, their touchdowns are not coming down to Mac Jones, slinging the rock. It's more of just hand it off and let him run it in. Here we go. Moving on. Terry R sends in a question. Let me get to Terry's question. It says, Jerry Jeudy, Deontay Johnson, full PPR, and Van Jefferson or Ramondre Stevenson. Okay. So I'm playing Deontay Johnson over Jerry Jeudy. Follow it up. If we're playing Van Jefferson or Stevenson, I'm playing Stevenson. Thank you. Chase sends in a question, says full PPR pick 2. Ingram, J-Rob, DJ Moore, Brandon Ayuk. I would play both of those running backs, Chase, and you're good to go. Mark Ingram, James Robinson, fantastic. So Ziggy says pick 2 full PPR, James Robinson, Tyler Lockett, Mark Ingram, Elijah Mitchell. Ooh, we got a little bit of a tougher choice here. Let me go to my full PPR rankings. Boom. Let's go here. Okay. So we have Mark Ingram at 14, be ahead of Elijah Mitchell and James Robinson. So in that regard, let me go ahead. Let me look at your okay. So we have Okay. So I would rather play Mitchell and Ingram over Lockett and Robinson right now. Robinson, because there's always a potential of him, hurting his foot and leaving the game. Lockett, I mean, look, Lockett has opportunity. I just don't know how much it's going to lead to. Because again, there's so much volatility with him. So I'd rather just play Ingram and Mitchell there. Thank you very much, Ziggy. Edward Kowalski says, Wilson or Hurts, 6-point per passing touchdown league. I think even in this regard, especially because it's 6-point per passing touchdown league, it's even heavily more skewed in Russell Wilson's direction. Very seldom do we see Jalen Hurts throw the ball for touchdowns. And on top of it, he gets to play against Denver secondary, which I'm not too fond of. So I'd rather play Russell Wilson there. Thank you. Alfredo Salazar says, trade Zeke and Pitts for Josh Allen. How do you feel about Godwin playing today? Okay. So again, the Zeke and Pitts for Josh Allen, I just don't get it. There still is not more clarity on that regard, on that front. So I'm still keeping Zeke and Pitts. As for how do I feel about Godwin playing today, if he's healthy enough to play, then he's healthy enough to be in my lineup. That's how I see it. So if they trust him enough and he feels that he can go, then by all means, I'm ready to just throw him in my lineup and reap the rewards of it. There's always an inherent risk, but I'm willing to, play with the risk there. Unless you have an option like if you have Godwin and you have Keenan Allen. Well, of course you want to play Keenan Allen because he's healthy and he's just as good. Good, like opportunities there, no problem. But if it's someone that's like, if it's Godwin or Hunter Renfrow, I'm going to play Godwin, right? Come on. But either way, follow-up question you also had. A.J. Brown value moving forward. With Julio Jones out and Derrick Henry out, A.J. Brown has an opportunity to be a top 5 wide receiver the rest of the way. It's purely up to whether or not Ryan Tannehill is going to allow him to reach that mark. I think he will. So I see him as a top 5 wide receiver going forward. Let's see here. We have Morano G says Ramondre Stevenson, Antonio Gibson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis. Pick 2 running back in a flex. At running back, I'm playing Stevenson. At the flex, I am probably playing Corey Davis. Thank you. Sean Holland says half PPR, pick 2. Ayuk, T.Y. Hilton, Corey Davis, Deshaun Jackson. I'm going to play Ayuk for sure. And then I'm going to follow that up with playing T.Y. Hilton. Thank you very much. Guys, again, because that was a half PPR question. Over here on screen, if you look down there, my finger got cut off by the green screen. Hilton is one ahead of Davis, and then Ayuk is at 31. Again, these are my updated rankings as of this morning for week 10 of the 2021 fantasy football season. So if you're interested in knowing who I would rather prefer, it is on screen. Again, if you guys haven't yet already, for those of you who are in here, there's about 900 of you. There's only about 383 likes. I know it seems like an insignificant thing to click the like button, but I can assure you guys that, that's literally in terms of supporting the channel, there's a couple things, right? There's like, send in a donation, your viewership. But I'm telling you, clicking the like button may be the most important one, legitimately. It is so valuable to the algorithm and getting this channel more views, getting it more exposure to opportunity elsewhere. I cannot thank you guys enough for those of you who clicked that button. But hey, I'm telling you, that like button, it may seem like, Andrew, it's just, what's one like going to do? What's one like going to do? It'll make a world of difference, guys. Trust me. All right, so a couple more questions here. Let's see here. Vince sends in a question. Vinzo. What is Vinzo's question? Where are we at here? Hines or Gibson? I'd rather play Antonio Gibson. I know I should start Gibson, but their matchup is the roll of the dice. Yeah, look, they do get Brandon Sheriff back, one of their all-pro guards. Okay, imagine this. This is a stat I read this morning. Brandon Sheriff, he's a fantastic all-pro guard for the Washington football team. If if you just go ahead and you just extract his stats in terms of how many games they've won with and without him, in his career, the 7 years he's been with the Washington football team, they have like a 49% win rate when he's on the team playing. When he is not there, they have literally never won a game when he's not been in the lineup. I think they're like 0-12 or some stupid stat like that. Some crazy stuff. Either way, he's back. Hopefully they'll run the ball. And hopefully Gibson falls into the end zone. Dilo says, I played Bateman, so I need a bench between Zeke, Metcalf, Pittman, AJ Brown, Patterson, Dernis Johnson. Bench Johnson, question mark. Of the available options that you have, yeah, I'm benching Johnson. I'm benching Dernis Johnson. I'm playing Zeke, Patterson, AJ Brown, Pittman, and Metcalf. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Also, your follow-up question, should I trade Waller for Knox and Damian Harris? Based on the rest of the team that you've kind of presented to me, Dilo, I mean, let's be honest. Do you really need Damian Harris? You have Zeke and you have Patterson. If you want a third guy to play in the flex position, you can certainly do it. But, I mean, yeah, I don't mind it. If that's what you're looking for, just a flex running back, you can certainly do so. And then you get Knox as a consolation to fill in. But otherwise, I don't know if you need it. Maybe more context as to who you have on your bench, what the scoring format is would help. But outside of that, I don't mind it. Micah, Green Slate, says, another week, another injury, full PPR. I had Murray, left with Heineke, Trevor Lawrence, Jimmy Garoppolo. All right, so of those three quarterbacks, legitimately, I think I have them back-to-back ranked. Let me confirm this. Heineke at 16, Trevor Lawrence at 17, Jimmy Garoppolo at 18. So hopefully that answers your question. Literally, that is my quarterback rankings as it goes off screen. So as for also New England, the New Orleans Saints, Panthers defense, or Cleveland, I would rather play the New Orleans Saints defense this week. Thank you. Dustin sends in a question. Ramondre Stevenson or Ayuk full PPR? I'd play Stevenson. Thank you. Michael sends in a question. Says PPR need a tight end and a flex. Knox, Goddard, Emmanuel Sanders. I am playing. Damn. I'm going to play Dawson Knox and Emmanuel Sanders. We're going to leave Dallas Goedert on the bench this week. Phil E says, just want to say appreciate your content. Have a good Sunday. I appreciate that. Here's a coffee on me, brother. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Phil. Thank you. Javier Hernandez says, half PPR, pick 2, flex, Keenan Allen, Mark Ingram, Hunter Renfrow, Hawkinson, currently 5 and 4. Keenan Allen's a must play. Outside of that, I'm going to go with Mark Ingram over Hawkinson and Renfrow this week. So Keenan Allen, Mark Ingram, those are my two suggestions. Keenan Fleming says, half PPR, Trevor Lawrence or Mason Rudolph. I would rather play Trevor Lawrence. Though I think Mason Rudolph isn't that bad, I'm not confident enough to start him anytime soon. So let's play Trevor Lawrence there. Grayson Smith says, in a tough spot in the Superflex League, half PPR, can I start Mason Rudolph, Renfrow, Devonta Smith, or grab Simeon or Colt McCoy as free agents? Let me tell you where I have Mason Rudolph ranked. I mean, it's actually hilarious how there's back-to-back questions for Mason Rudolph. So Mason Rudolph right now, I have him behind Trevor Simeon, but above Colt McCoy, if that makes sense. So I have Simeon, Rudolph, McCoy in that order. So if it's a matter of who am I picking up and playing as a super flex, I'd play Trevor Simeon there. Grayson, appreciate that. JD says, start one, Panthers or Browns defense? I'd rather play the Browns defense this week. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Panthers, Browns, or Titans? Didn't see the Titans part. I'd rather play the Titans over all of them there. Travis Hayes says, half PPR, Michael Gallup or Eno Benjamin? Damn, that is a tough question. Of that group, I'm probably playing Michael Gallup. Yeah, probably play Michael Gallup there. AJ Briano says, 2 at flex, half PPR, Deontay Johnson, Ramondre Stevenson, Gibson, or Ty Johnson. Is that Deontay Johnson or is that Dernis Johnson? AJ, if you're still here and you can hear me, please type in the chat, is it Deontay or is it Dernis? Because that actually, I mean, I'm probably starting regardless, either one, but just want to confirm it. While I wait for your response, Heavy Hitters says Keenan Allen or Christian Kirk? Allen is questionable. I don't care if he's questionable. He's in my lineup. He's a stud wide receiver. He's good to go. Don't worry about him. Let's see here. Okay, so really quickly, let me go here. Let me refresh this. See if okay, Deontay, cool. So that actually does help. All right, so AJ, so this is what I would do. I'd play Deontay Johnson and I would play Ramondre Stevenson. You're good to go there. Thank you. We did heavy hitters question. After heavy hitter, we have Seth East says full PPR, pick one pick one for my flex. DJ Moore, Darrell Williams, Dallas Goedert, Brandon Ayuk. I want to play DJ Moore. I don't think I can, so I'm gonna play Darrell Williams there. Thank you. Brandon Gilbert says DJ Moore or James Robinson, full PPR. I play James Robinson there. Craig Stamps says full PPR, Van Jefferson or T.Y. Hilton. I play Van Jefferson there, Craig. Thank you. Alex Apking says Patterson, Tyreek Hill, Diggs, Keenan Allen, Swift, Henderson. Need 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex out of this group, full PPR. Wow, that makes it extremely difficult. But Patterson is an automatic running back play. Diggs, Tyreek Hill are automatic plays as well. If it's Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, or Darrell Henderson this week, where's my full PPR rankings? I think I want to kind of play Keenan Allen over Darrell Henderson, kind of low key, but I might not. Let me see here. So Cordero Patterson and DeAndre Swift are your 2 starting running backs. Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs are your 2 wide receivers. So it's between Keenan Allen and Darrell Henderson. And currently, where's Darrell Henderson in my rankings? Where are you, Darrell? Darrell Henderson is currently ahead of Keenan Allen slightly. I mean, damn. Do I want to play? Yeah, I'm just gonna play Darrell Henderson. I mean, I don't want to have to, especially in a full PPR. Ah, man. Nah, all right. F it. We're audibling. We're doing it live. Just play Keenan Allen there at flex. So play Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Patterson. Leave Henderson on the bench. Damn. All right. Santom says, Santom21. Hey, Andrew. Ertz, Gainwell, Corey Davis, flex. I would rather play Corey Davis over the bunch. Thank you. Joel Barron says, Ingram or Mike Williams? Really good question. If it's a half PPR scoring format, I'm playing Ingram. If it's a full PPR, I probably still play Ingram, but it gets closer to me trying to maybe roll out Mike Williams there. Jonathan Lee, let's see here. Didn't send in a message attached to the question. Let's see if I can find your message in the chat, Jonathan. I sent a super chat, forgot to the message. I sent a super chat, but didn't send the message. Okay, Jonathan Lee, if you can hear me, just type it into the chat right now, and I'll read it and I'll answer it. Logan sends in a question, says, pick 2 full PPR. Singletary, Alex Collins, Callaway, or T.Y. Hilton. All right, out of that group, if I'm picking 2, I am playing Alex Collins and Singletary. Thank you. Do I want to play? Yeah, let's just do it. Let's roll with Singletary. It's a little sketchy, but might be able to get away with it and find some, luck going in our direction. Where's Jonathan Lee? Jonathan, you there? Jonathan Lee says, pick 4. Cordero Patterson, Darrell Henderson, Diggs, Pittman, Debo. Wow. If I'm just picking 4 out of the 5, I'm playing. Damn. If I'm paying 4 out of the 5 and a half PPR, it's a little different, but I'm probably still playing Cordero Patterson, Darrell Henderson, Debo Samuel, and Diggs, and I'd have to bench Pittman. If it was a full PPR, I'd feel more confident playing Pittman over Henderson, but in this regard, it's between those 2, and I'd just rather play the running back in a half PPR. Thank you. Let's see here. Christian Ponce says, Alex Collins or Landry? I'd play Alex Collins. Darrell Williams or Durness? I'd play Durness Johnson. Guys, again, if you see on screen to the left of me, over here, updated rankings, guys. It says Durness Johnson number 9. Number 12. My apologies. And Darrell Williams is all the way down there at 21. Again, the rankings on screen are here for a reason, to try to help you guys out and set you up for success this upcoming weekend. So thank you very much for the donation there, Christian. But it's on the screen for those of you who are interested. Futuristic Old School says, I have to drop one for a quick kicker this week in a must-win. Drake or Madison? Wow. If you have Dalvin Cook, if you have Dalvin Cook, keep Madison, drop Drake. If you don't, just drop Madison and say F it. Alex Nava sends in a question, sends in a donation. There wasn't a message attached to it. Alex says, full PPR, Michael Carter or Jordan Howard? 100% Michael Carter, not even close. Appreciate that, Alex. Appreciate that. Romans828 says Keenan Allen, Elijah Mitchell, Melvin Gordon sit one. If I'm sitting one out of that group, it's Melvin Gordon, actually. So that's what I would do. I'd play Mitchell and I'd play Keenan Allen. Switchblade Dragon says Ayuk or Stevenson. I'd play Stevenson. Thank you very much, Switchblade. Switchblade, I mean, your name has been in this chat for so long. I think it's been like 2 or 3 years now. I mean, it's because it's a unique name that I remember it. But, man, you've been in here for a while. Appreciate the support, my guy. All right, let me just do something real quick. I got to find an option to replace Julio Jones in one of my leagues here. Oh, am I playing? Oh, man, who am I playing at this spot, dude? It's just so bad. Some of these players are just terrible on my waivers, dude. I think I'm going to have to play Donovan Peoples-Jones. I don't want to, but I probably will have to. Let's see. Your next question was from Vicious Vega. Says, flex spot, Eno Benjamin, question mark? I mean, what are your other options, dude? I mean, there's a reason why I don't have Eno Benjamin on screen is because I don't trust it. Because I think James Conner is just going to be the outright, full dominating back. So if you have a better option at a wide receiver spot, maybe you play that. But otherwise, the only way that Eno Benjamin scores or finds value is if they're blowing out the Panthers, which is possible, but unlikely, to guarantee that. Kojo says, starting Knox, Sanders, or Beasley with Allen stack. Also, Melvin Gordon or Moss over James Robinson this week, being limited and the Colts defense. You the man. Love the music. Appreciate that. I don't mind Melvin Gordon over James Robinson because Melvin Gordon's been as good as he has been. But again, Javonte Williams, if he steals one of those touchdowns, he disappears, right? So I do prefer James Robinson there. In the order, it would go James Robinson, Melvin Gordon, Zach Moss. As for if you're playing Knox, Sanders, or Beasley with Allen, it's purely based off of scoring format. If you're playing in a half PPR, you play Sanders. If you're playing in a full PPR, you play Beasley. Thank you. Berg says, I got Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen, D. Harris, or OBJ. Who's D. Harris? Damian? Because I'm pretty sure Damian Harris is out. So the only other Harris I know is Deontay Harris. So I'm playing Godwin and I'm playing Keenan Allen. If I have to pick one of the two, I would rather play Keenan Allen over Chris Godwin this week. But I'd want to play both of them. Let's see here. Howard sends it a question. Says, hey, need 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex for my group half PPR. Diggs, Thielen, Cooper, Patterson, Christian McCaffrey, D'Ernest Johnson, Holy moly. Patterson has wide receiver and running back eligibility. Cousins is my quarterback. Okay. 2 running backs. Let's figure these out. We have Patterson, Christian McCaffrey, and D'Ernest. So I'm playing Patterson and Christian McCaffrey. Done. Those are your 2 locked-in running backs. As for your wide receiver position, it's between... Okay, so Diggs is automatically playing in my eyes. It's between Thielen and Amari Cooper. I'd rather play Amari Cooper. Then if it's between D'Ernest Johnson and Adam Thielen, I'd play D'Ernest Johnson. So Patterson, Christian McCaffrey, D'Ernest Johnson, Diggs, and Cooper. Thank you very much, Howard. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Scrolling down. Hekami sends in a question. D'Ernest Johnson or Elijah Mitchell? Full PPR RB2. I would rather play D'Ernest Johnson. Thank you. DB444 says flex full PPR Elijah Mitchell or Jerry Jeudy. I'd play Elijah Mitchell there. Solo Dolo says DJ Moore, Mike Williams, Amari Cooper. Between those respective options, I would rather play Mike Williams over the bunch. Though it seems sketchy, trust me, I think this is the week where he gets back on track. Justin sends in a question. You answered my question earlier about Sutton or Green. Should I pick up Tyler Johnson from the Bucks and play them over one of those 2? Oh, man. That's not a terrible option. I'm going to be totally honest. It's not a bad option. Do I'd rather play Ty Johnson or Tyler Johnson over one of these 2 guys? Oh, man. Look, here's the thing. Conventional wisdom would say, hey, play the guys that are actual starters and play the guys regardless of matchup. But I'm going to be honest, like Stephon Gilmore and Darius Slay, they are locked down this season. So honestly, yeah, I don't mind picking up Tyler Johnson and playing him over him. Somebody in the chat, Segaman, was saying Ingram or Odell. I'm not playing Odell Beckham this week over Mark Ingram. It's not even close. Odell Beckham will play, but he won't be at a full capacity just yet. He's got to fully learn the offense and everything. And, for those of you who were asking earlier about Robert Woods, I think Robert Woods is a huge hurt. It really does hurt, for obviously your team. but it hurts Darrell Henderson more than just about anybody. Robert Woods is one of the better run blocking wide receivers in the NFL. Like, he's actually really good. And unfortunately, them losing him is going to certainly affect the running game, and hopefully not that big of a deal, but we'll see how it looks as we go on. Play-by-play says, just traded DJ Moore, Michael Carter, Freiermuth, and Devontae Freeman for Kelsey and Chris Carson. W or L? Your W or L will be determined on whether or not Chris Carson plays in the coming weeks. Because if he does, you'll be fine, because you don't need all we don't need Devontae Freeman, and you technically are getting a huge upgrade at tight end. But to be honest, if Chris Carson doesn't play, that is a massive L. And you'll definitely hurt, because DJ Moore will be better with Cam Newton coming in. Sean Holland says, Antonio Gibson or Devonta Smith? Devonta Smith is my suggestion. Rockout says, Michael Carter, Javonte Williams, Jerry Jeudy, or Christian Kirk. I'd play Michael Carter there. Thank you very much. Jack says, Mitchell, Drake, Kirk, Ayuk. At PPR, I'd play Mitchell over the bunch. And then Patterson or DK. I'd rather play... I think I have Patterson ahead of DK. I could be mistaken. Maybe I am. Let me see here. In a full PPR flex, I have Cordero Patterson ahead of... Do I have him ahead of DK Metcalf? Where the heck is Metcalf on my list? I have him ahead of DK Metcalf. So, yeah, I play Patterson there. Thank you. Okay, I got to figure out who I'm playing in this wide receiver 3 position. Available, let's see here. Wide receivers. Do I have anybody on my bench in this league? What does my bench look like? Tony's on a bye week. I don't have any wide receivers. What have I been doing? Julio in the... I don't have any wide receivers on this bench. Who do I have? Deontay. Okay, I got to figure out who the heck to pick up then. Let's see here. Connor just sent in a question. Says, J-Rob or Collins? I play J-Rob. Docs Talks says, hey, Andrew, Odell or Van? Darrell or Ingram? I would play Van Jefferson over Odell Beckham Jr., and I would play Van Jefferson over Odell Beckham Jr., Mark Ingram over Darrell Williams. Thank you. Rusty Wright says, supposed limited reps for J-Rob, play him over Melvin Gordon. Where are these pieces of information coming from, my guy? That's my question. Because if we can get some confirmation as to who tweeted it, because if it's coming out of like a Schefter or an Ian Rappaport, then I'll believe it and I'll play Melvin Gordon over him. But I'm curious. Let's see here. Anybody in the chat have an idea as to where that could... It's pure speculation? Yeah. If it's pure speculation, I don't want to hear it. I'd rather... I mean, listen, Rusty, if you want to play Melvin Gordon, by all means, you should. Because if you're looking at the better matchup, you're looking at the health prospect of it, you're good to go, you play him. No problem. It's not even that big of a difference in my rankings to where I'm upset. I'm not. I'm happy that you're making the decision. You're like, hey, yeah, I'd rather play this guy. Great. Awesome. No problem. So, yeah, if you're confident there, go for it. Rusty says, ESPN interviewed Urban. I mean, I could give it. I mean, I had some choice words for Urban Meyer. My goodness, I almost went off on the handle there. But, yeah, I'm not too concerned about what Urban has to say. It's a lot of coaches talk, coach speak. They're going to say things that they want to say. I don't really, if he comes out being limited, so be it. Like, at this point, there's no guarantee of it. Like, even when they say, like, oh, X player's on a pitch count, dude, like, supposedly Christian McCaffrey was on a pitch count last week, had 18 touches. Supposedly Kittle was on a snap count last week, had himself 18 fantasy points. Like, what are we talking about, right? It's just craziness. Let's see here. Who do I have higher in a full PPR in the flex position? Ramondre's there. And then where is Marvin Jones? Where are you, Marvin? Okay. Cool beans. That's done. All right. Let me see this chat here. Appreciate the help. No problem, Rusty. Would you pick Kenny Drake up off of waivers. Yeah, if you need a flex option or if you just need running back depth, yeah, I would. Andrew Help, how the F is Elijah Moore not in your top 36 wide receiver last week? Show some respect. Are you asking for help, or are you demanding that I, go about my business differently? Because we have two different prospects here, right? You can have your opinion. I could have mine. Let me do what I like to do. You do what you like to do, Bill Gates. If you want to play Elijah Moore, by all means, you play him. By the way, if you were in the chat earlier, you would know I have him as my number 37 ranked wide receiver. So he's on that fringe, but it's just a matchup. So just take it easy. You don't have to type in all caps. You don't got to get upset about it. Listen, it's fantasy football. We're here to have fun, okay? Let's see here. Curtis says, however, despite Robinson's updated designation, there are rumblings that he may be limited to some degree, says Dennis Clausen of Roto Baller. Yeah, I mean, look, there are rumblings. Unless those rumblings become concrete evidence, it's just so hard to speculate on those regards, Marcus sends in a donation. Let's see if Marcus has a mess. Cleveland Browns or Saints? I'd play the Saints defense this week, Marcus. Thank you. Dalton Robinson. Let's see here, Dalton Robinson. Robertson, excuse me. Let's see where we at, Dalton. Dalton, you sent in a donation, but there's no message attached to it. So if you have something to say, send it into the live chat right now, and I'd help you out. Mark Straw says standard sit one, Darrell Williams, CeeDee Lamb, Deontay Johnson, and Michael Pittman. I'm leaning towards Williams. My running backs this week are Zeke and Fournette. Standard pick one. If I'm picking one out of those four players, I'm not playing Darrell Williams. I'm in fact playing CeeDee Lamb. I would much rather play him or Michael Pittman over the rest in a standard league. Thank you. Trude Boy says Michael Carter, Zach Moss. I play Michael Carter there. Zach plays up against an easier defense. Michael Carter versus the worst. Yeah, here's the issue, right? Zach Moss in the last couple weeks here. Let me look at this real quick. Zach Moss has had cakewalks in terms of matchups. First and foremost, they played against Miami. Okay, let's go back a couple weeks. Against Tennessee, eight rushing attempts for 24 yards, 3 yards per carry. Not great. He follows it up against Miami, which is really not a good run-stopping defense. 8 carries for 19 yards, 2.38 yards per carry. Then he follows it up, and he gets a concussion. And he's supposed to play after 1 week after getting a concussion. And I'm thinking to myself, is this guy actually going to be mentally, like, if he gets bopped again, maybe he goes back to the concussion protocol. Anyway, we're hoping that's not the case. If you want to play Zach Moss, by all means, be my guest. If you're playing in a half or full PPR scoring format, I don't really care that Buffalo is one of the better run-stopping defenses. I care that Michael Carter is catching the ball, and it doesn't even matter where he's moving. He's just going to, be fine catching, getting those points. Let's see here. Did Dalton send in a question in the chat? Dalton, anything? No? Okay. Thank you, Dalton. I appreciate the donation. Appreciate that. Where are we at here? We also saw a question coming from Leonidas 707. Says Brandon Ayuk or Christian Kirk in a half PPR format. I would play Christian Kirk like it says on screen. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Leonidas. I was interestingly enough that now that Leonidas is brought up, I was watching a clip on YouTube from 300. Literally one of the best clips from that movie is where he's explaining the Persian army that is coming out with the masks, like the kabuki masks, and they have like the double blades on their backs. And he was like, they call them the Immortals, and we put their name to the test, and then they just start murking people. Dude, that is the best Zack Snyder movie. Man of Steel is, top tier, right? But in terms of those kind of things, what are these Army, the Dead? Okay, anyway, we're going to get to movie talk later, okay? Continuing on, Jeffrey sends in a question. Says Russell Gage, Tim Patrick, or AJ Green this week. Pick two. I'm playing Tim Patrick and I'm playing Russell Gage. Thank you very much, Jeffrey. I appreciate that. Matthew Kroll says higher ceiling, Collins or Singletary, half PPR. Collins or Singletary? I'm playing Collins. Thank you. Umer C says half PPR, Mike Williams, Elijah Mitchell, Knox or Hawkinson. I'd play Hawkinson over Knox. As for a half PPR between Mitchell and Williams, I'd rather probably play Mitchell and just take the guaranteed points of the running back there. Army of the Dead was bad. Yeah, it was horrible. It wasn't even close. Anything, I don't know, man. Does Netflix make good original movies? Like, actually, like legit inquiry. Ahmed E says, Gage, Hunter Henry, Sutton, full PPR. I'd play Russell Gage there. Thank you. Chris in the chat says, Myers over Christian Kirk. No, guys, listen, on screen, my rankings are there. Jacoby Myers is at 33. Christian Kirk is significantly higher over there at number, where's Christian Kirk? 24. So again, on screen, you can find a lot of the questions. Ryan Kilpatrick says, thank you for being the best absolute unit. Thank you very much, Ryan. I appreciate that. Jake Perez says, super conflicted. A full PPR, need two. I need Mark Ingram, Michael Carter, or Tyler Johnson. I am playing Mark Ingram and Michael Carter 150,000%. Thank you. Western Goods says, Colts defense or Titans? I'm playing Titans. Thank you. Kobe Sports Card says, sent in a super chat and didn't answer it. Let's see here. Kobe, let me do the search function. Kobe. Kobe, you didn't. Oh, here it is. Where the heck is it, though? Where the heck did you send this in? Oh, there's a couple I missed. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. Okay, we're going back up to the top. So we answered Connor's question. And then Kobe, need two running backs, Swift, Henderson, Dernis Johnson. If it's a half, can you answer this, Kobe, in the chat? Is it a half or a full PPR scoring format? That's all I'm wondering, just so I can get some clarity. Also, Eddie Gutierrez says, do you trust Mason Rudolph? In terms of trusting Freiermuth and Deontay and what's his name? Najee Harris? Yeah, I'm fine with it. But outside of that, still a little sketchy. Rockout said, Michael Carter, Javonte Williams. Yeah, we did that question. So yeah, Kobe, I did miss that. I apologize. My bad. I'm glad I saw your message in the chat so we could obviously address that. Kobe says full PPR. Cool. So if we're playing options here in a full PPR scoring format, I'm playing Swift and I'm playing Henderson and I'm leaving Ernest on the bench. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see here. A couple questions were sent in. Marcus sends in a question. Is there any message attached to it, Marcus? Marcus, send in a question because your donation didn't have one attached to it. Perry Paul says, or just type it into the chat. That's what I mean. Perry Paul says, Stevenson, Gibson, Bolden, or Beasley. Pick two. I'm picking Stevenson and I'm picking Beasley. Thank you. Ian sends in a question. Says, hey, Andrew, full PPR flex options are Drake, AJ Dillon, Michael Gallup. Is Gallup the highest upside? I think AJ, I mean, technically, in a full PPR, the highest upside typically should be a wide receiver here, but I think it's actually Kenyon Drake. So I'm going to play him. Let's see here. Dalton Robertson says, still running Ingram over J-Rob, full PPR. Asked this last night. Yes, I'm still running Ingram over J-Rob. Yes, thank you. Christian Burden says, defense, we're going Cowboys or Packers? I'd play Cowboys. Thank you. Who was supposed to send in a message? Marcus, did you send in one maybe? Marcus. Let's see. Marcus says, I wanted to say, Andrew, I appreciate you a lot. Thank you very much. I've been watching you since week 1 of last year. NFL should be looking for a new analyst. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Marcus. Thank you. Very kind words. No question. You're good for this week. Let me see if there's anything else in the chat from you. Thank you. Anything else? That's it. Oh, there we go. Marcus says Saints or Cleveland. I'd play the Saints defense. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. So we're looking for Gage Murdoch says Stevenson or Landry in a half PPR. I play Stevenson there. Okay. So again, guys, really quickly. Okay, let me see here. Token Texan says, what are the weathers? Okay, the weather games today. Yeah, okay, so let me reiterate that really quickly. NFL weather report. So if you guys just go to your browser and you look up NFL weather, just straight up, there's a website called NFLweather.com. If you go there, it legitimately just has, what the local forecasts are. So today, the worst game in terms of potential, it even updated. Technically, the Pittsburgh game was supposed to have light drizzle. As of the current update, it's just overcast. There's nothing, no problem. Now, there could be some progressions in which in the later, half of the game that there could be a change of, weather. But I've heard a lot of you guys say that it's going to be, snowing or blizzard in Green Bay today. But, based on the forecast, am I crazy or, what's going on here? Like I'm looking at, you can even see the detailed report. If you click on it, where is the snow chance? Okay, so the chance of it raining in the second half is 7%, 15% in the first half. Cloud coverage, okay, yep, doesn't seem like it's going to be a snow game. I don't know where you guys are getting. Unless we have boots on the ground that can give us 100% confirmation. I don't know about the weather concerns there. Let's see here. David Cruz sends in a question. Says, please choose 2 for the flex: Gallup, Devontae Smith, Peterson, or Corey Davis. I would play Devonta Smith, and I would follow that up by playing Corey Davis. Thank you. DZ Dalla says, standard league, Van Jefferson, Cole Beasley, Gallup, or Drake. I would play Van Jefferson there. Thank you very much. Kyle sends in a donation, no question attached to it. If you can send in anything, that would be appreciated so I can help you out. The real G squared says, ranked by PPR, Mike Williams, Amari Cooper, Justin Jefferson, Darrell Williams, McKissick. All right, if I'm ranking them straight up, Justin Jefferson, number 1. Mike Williams, number 2. Amari Cooper, number 3. J.D. McKissick, number 4. Darrell Williams, number 5. Thank you. Boots in the ground, snow in Green Bay, ugly. How is that possible? Green Bay weather report. How is, what? Snow is ugly. How? It doesn't even, wait, hold up. Let me see here. Snow this morning is giving lingering snow showers in the afternoon. 10-mile-per-hour wind, that's normal. I get 50 at my house, so it's, we can still throw a football outside, right? No, maybe not. I mean, is it still actively snowing? That is the question. If it snowed this morning, they're going to plow it out. But is it still snowing? It's snowing in Lambeau, by the way. Okay, great. If it's snowing in Lambeau, then Aaron Rodgers will be perfectly fine. I don't know about Russell Wilson technically, because Russell Wilson isn't a snow quarterback, but don't worry about Aaron Rodgers. He'll be fine. Aaron Rodgers is built for that stuff. So Kyle, did you send in a follow-up question? Let me see here. Kyle. Where's Kyle? No question. Okay. Appreciate it, Kyle, though. Omar G says, Kittle, Van Jefferson, Drake, full PPR. I'm playing Kittle, and I'm getting 20 points out of it. Bang. Perfect. Easy. Doing it. Let's get it. All right. I got to figure out what player I'm starting in my wide receiver 3 guys. Maybe I just have you guys pick. Now I'm just, gosh. Westbrook, Ikini, maybe, question mark? No, that's probably not a good option. Zacchaeus. I already have Russell Gage on this team. There's no way I'm playing both. No shot. Maybe I just run with James Washington and just bite the bullet. Nah, I don't want to do that either. Do I want to play Donovan Peoples-Jones against the Patriots? Yeah, I think I have to. I just need upside. Let's roll the dice. Whatever. All right, anyway. I'm done with this lineup. I'm coming back. All right. Oh my God, there's so many questions I got sent in all at once there. Let me see here. I got to check one of my other teams as well, just to make sure. Okay, what are your other options, Andrew? Don't worry. This is a stacked league, super flex, 3 wide receivers, 8 bench spots each team, 12 teams. There's nothing available out there. I'm playing Donovan Peoples-Jones, and I'm biting the bullet. Let's just hope that he catches a tutty. That's it. Let's just hope. All right, let me go check one of my teams here. 10-team league here. I have Russell Wilson, Cordero Patterson, Henderson, Hill, Lamb, Kittle, Fournette. I had Derrick Henry on this team. He's obviously injured. I'm waiting for AB to come back so I can play him. But otherwise, I have Brandon Ayuk as my number 2 wide receiver. We'll see how that goes. All right, Joe Cohen says, quarterback fill in, QB. Okay, let's see it. Full PPR, McCoy, Simeon, or Rudolph. I'm playing Trevor Simeon today. Thank you. Big Moose says, pick 3, wide receiver, full PPR, Hill, Diggs, AJ, or CD. Hill, Diggs, AJ. Those are the 3 I'm playing. I'm sitting CD Lamb. It hurts, but it is what it is. Poncho, Jordan Howard, Green, T.Y. Hilton, or Fryer Muth. Pick 1, full PPR. If I'm picking one for sure in a full PPR, it's either Fryer or T.Y. Hilton. I probably play Fryer Muth there, to be honest. Steven C says, PPR, pick 2, Darrell Williams, Carter, Beasley, Ayuk. In a full PPR, I'm playing Carter and Beasley. Thank you. Joshua Wilkins says, half PPR, would you flex Gibson, Hines, Ayuk, or OBJ? I would flex Ayuk in that regard. Thank you. Orlando sends in a question, says Mark Ingram or Brandon Ayuk. I would play Mark Ingram there. I feel like it's obvious, but I want to ask anyway. Yeah, no problem. Mark Ingram is the play in that regard. Christopher Allen says, deep league, OBJ or Donovan Peoples-Jones. I would rather play Donovan Peoples-Jones because I don't think Odell Beckham plays that much this Sunday or this upcoming Monday. I think he'll get himself, work, but he's not going to get himself like 10 targets off the first game without knowing the full playbook, Solo Dolo sends in a question, Tampa Bay or Pittsburgh defense today? Let's see here. So if I scroll to my rankings, Tampa Bay is my number 3 defense. Pittsburgh's my number 4. So I'd go Tampa Bay there. Yoshimitsu. I mean, isn't that Soul Calibur? Yoshimitsu is a busted character. Says pick one, full PPR. Judy or Stevenson. Big fan. Thank you very much. I probably just play Stevenson, to be honest. I mean, I think Judy is a good play in a full PPR. I think I'm just going to go with the upside and hopefully get those overall points there from the running back that is getting guaranteed touches. Breton7 says half PPR Javonte or Marvin Jones Jr. Flex. I probably just play Javonte Williams there. Araujo as an interesting last name. Thank you very much for the donation. It says Ramondre or Michael Carter. I'm probably playing Michael Carter unless it's a standard league. In a standard league, I'd play Ramondre, but in a half full PPR, I'd just go with Carter. Let's see here. Ricardo says banged up Godwin or Amari Cooper. I'm comfortable playing Godwin. If you want to play Cooper, by all means, go ahead and do it. Yoshimitsu's Tekken? Really? Then who am I thinking of in Soul Calibur? Maybe I'm just off. It's been that long, huh? Pogo stick, a samurai sword? Yeah, that's right, Chris. That's right. I remember that, but yeah, I guess it is Tekken maybe. Yeah, if you want to play Amari Cooper, you can. I don't think it's a bad idea. I feel more comfortable with Godwin if they're throwing him out there. Chris W says Pats or Tennessee. I'm playing Tennessee's defense. Ty or Deontay Johnson. Full PPR. I'm playing Deontay Johnson. Thank you, Chris. X-Men XRP says needs superior advice. Okay, let's see if we can help you out here. Have to start 2 in a full PPR. Jacoby Myers, Ramondre Stevenson, Eno Benjamin, or T Johnson. If that is Tyler Johnson, I'd rather play Ramondre and Jacoby. If it is Ty Johnson, I would play both the running backs. So hopefully that answers your question at hand. Thank you very much. Solo Dolo says Freiermuth or Arnold. It's Fryer and a half PPR and I'd probably Fryer them both, even in a full. Chris sends in a question with possible snow, Lockett or Kirk. Dude, I still feel like they're gonna catch the ball a bunch in the snow, but I mean, what's gonna happen in a snow game here? I still play Lockett. I think I'm still gonna play Lockett. I mean, oh man, is it like snow game like Buffalo Bills LaShawn McCoy snow game? Like, is that what we're talking about? Is it that bad? Let me see here. I'm going to go to Twitter. Let me see if there's anybody in Green Bay right now. And let me see how really bad this thing is. Photos. Oh, it's an ice dome. It's the ice bowl. Okay, yeah, dude. It's not that bad, but it's bad. Dude, oh my God. Is he going to... Do I rather play Christian Kirk, though? I don't mind you playing Christian Kirk. I don't know if I could do it, though. I think I'm just going to play Lockett. There's no way that snows from this morning. There's no way it's been consistently snowing because I'm looking at them with the tarp on the field, right? Because they're covering the grass right now, right? And there isn't that much buildup. There isn't enough buildup for me to be like, yeah, we'll be, we're effed. We're not playing any receivers there. I'm still playing them. I'm fine. Okay, a couple more questions were sent in. Kyle says, my bad, meant to send Ayuk or McKissick. I'm playing McKissick there. Pinoy Pure says, full PPR, T.Y. Hilton or Tyler Johnson. I'd play T.Y. Hilton. Thank you. Billington Bosman says, the Rams wide receiver, someone to keep an eye on or no? No, I wouldn't. I'm not really too interested in the fourth string wide receiver for that team. They say he will take Woods' role. Yeah, this week maybe, but I think Van Jefferson will be the number 2 option until OBJ is ready to go next week fully. Sean Schroeder says, full PPR, Melvin Gordon or Mark Ingram. I play Mark Ingram there. Opponent playing 4 Broncos. Yeah, I mean, look, if your opponent's playing 4 Broncos, he's in trouble. But yeah, I'm good playing Ingram. If you want to play Gordon, you certainly can. James Smith says, half PPR flex decision. Please help. AJ Dillon, man, you threw in way too many emojis, James. you could take it one step back with the emojis, my God. Gee, many Christmas, like 12 emojis in here. All right, AJ Dillon versus Seattle, JD McKissick versus Tampa Bay, Emmanuel Sanders versus the Jets, or Brandon Ayuk versus Kyle Shanahan. Oh my God. Okay, I will forgive all the emojis purely for that final comment. That may be the best comment that I have seen in this chat, maybe in the history. I'm going to be totally honest. I mean, standing ovation for James. James, that was beautiful. Beautiful. Anyway, of that question, I'm playing JD McKissick. X-Men, you sent in a question. I answered it a little bit ago, but I'll go ahead and reiterate it. I'm playing Ramondre Stevenson and Jacoby Myers. If the T. Johnson you're referring to is Ty Johnson, not Tyler, I would play Ty Johnson over Myers. Thank you. And by the way, there are no mods in chat. It is just Andrew, one-man army like I have been my entire life via this channel. Let's hear. Gabriel sends in a question saying, trading 6 players from my bench for a playoff piece, too risky. I want Kamara or AJ Brown. Don't trust Connor Cooks weeks 15 through 17, but not trading away. I mean, look, if you want to make a push by sending players, you just have to guarantee you're making the playoffs. If you can guarantee you're making the playoffs, then sure, go for it. Connor Fitzpatrick says, half PPR, Tyler Lockett or Dernis Johnson. I'm playing Dernis Johnson there. Thank you. Cries Flores says, full PPR, Mitchell, Gibby, Hawkinson, Tyler, John, Gallup. I'm playing Mitchell there. Thank you. Flight Zone Music says, Chenault or Tyler Johnson. I'd play Tyler Johnson there. Thank you. Araujo says, is Van Jefferson a great ad for the future? Yes, I think he's still a good play going forward as the number 3 option there, but he isn't like he has upside. That's purely what he is. He's upside of a top 36 play. And that's why he sits at like number 29 right now. Tyler sends in a question, says, full PPR flex, Ramondre Stevenson or Renfro. I'm going to play Stevenson there. Andrew sent in a question. Let me see well, he sent in a donation, but there wasn't a question attached to it for some reason. Let me see if I can find the question perhaps. It says Deontay Johnson or Ramondre Stevenson. I'm playing Deontay Johnson this week. Thank you very much there, Andrew. The Real G Squad says Patriots or Browns defense. I'm fairly certain I have the Patriots higher, but let me confirm this. Patriots are my number 11 defense. Cleveland my number 12. Just so we're all on the same page. Buffalo, Arizona, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, Rams, Titans, Colts, Cowboys, Saints, Broncos, Patriots, Browns. Those are my top 12 defenses for the remaining defenses that are left. Okay, cool. Flight Zone says OBJ or T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton, thank you. All right, guys. 9:53. Am I playing Donovan Peoples-Jones? Man, I'm starting to really stress now. I don't know. Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? I guess I'll know by the end of this week. If I lose this matchup, I'm going to be in shambles, but we'll see. This is my home league, so it's with all my buddies. You know, in my home league, they all know what I'm going to do. Nobody wants to trade with me because they know it's Andrew, and they're like, oh, Andrew, you want Jerry Jeudy? Yeah, give me Jonathan Taylor. I'm like, bro, like, what do you want me to, like, come on, guys. Just make it somewhat fair. Like, what are we doing? I get it, You guys don't want me to win again, but geez, like, give me a break, for goodness sake. All right, let's see here. Okay. All right, a couple more questions got sent in. No, okay. Mitchell or Renfro? I play Mitchell there. Do I start Kyler? No. Kyler's probably not going to play. Andrew, what's your record in your home league? 5-4. Got 4 running backs. So let me explain to you my home league team. Let me go find it. Where's my Yahoo? So my home league team is a super flex. I have, unfortunately, a team in which I had Saquon. So he obviously hasn't helped me. I have Kyler on this team. He hasn't helped me in the last couple of weeks here. Luckily, I'm being carried by Jonathan Taylor, but James Robinson disappeared the last couple of weeks. I think I've had 7 or 8 players go out to the injured reserve season-ending injuries on this team. So that kind of gives you some perspective as to what kind of shambles I'm in. I'm in such a bad position that I have to play Mason Rudolph this week. Like, that's how bad it's gotten in this league. Like, it started, I think, with I lost, what's his name? Raheem Mostert week 1. And then it's just been season-ending injury after season-ending injury after season-ending injury. Just boom, 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 boom. Every single week for me. So, hey, the fact that I'm 5-4, listen, bro, I'm a playoff fiend. I'm going to get in there and I'm going to just tear it up. But I'll probably end up losing in the end, just like I typically do. Lakeem says in a question, says Debo or Mark Ingram in a full PPR? I'd probably play Debo in that regard. Thank you. Knox or Muth? I'm probably playing Muth. Marquez Callaway or Tyler Johnson? I have Callaway slightly higher than Tyler Johnson. Slightly. But I do have him higher nonetheless. My bad. I don't know where that came from, but hey. Let's see here. I want to see, is there any of my leagues that I didn't set my lineups for? That's what I'm like combing back over just to make sure. I have to know, like, what the heck am I doing here? Okay, boom, 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 boom. Any of these leagues I didn't set? I have to like hop into every single one of them just to confirm. Okay. All right, we're chilling. All right, questions in the chat. Rojo or Christian McCaffrey? Thank you, Louise. That's a great question. Play Rojo. I'm just kidding. If you're legitimately being serious, please play Christian McCaffrey. Do not mess up, please. Play Christian McCaffrey. You're good to go. All right. Let's see here. Khalif Raymond? No, nobody wants to play Khalif Raymond this week. Okay. What do we got here? Gibson, Robinson, Stevenson. Pick one. Hey, Justin. On the left side of the screen, right over there, guys, updated rankings for half PPR top 36 running backs. The rankings on screen will certainly help and answer your questions. So check that out, guys. For those of you who have questions regarding 2 players in the same position, that should help you out a lot. Thank you. Okay. Let's see here. What the heck am I doing? All right, let's do this. What am I looking for again? That's right. Okay, what are we doing next here? We have another question come in. Bolden, Agnew, or Muth? I mean, jeez. That's just not... Oh, gosh. That's such a hard question, unfortunately. I don't know the answer to that one. I mean, it's probably... I want to tell you that it's Muth, and that's a guarantee, but I don't know if it is. Nick says, a mid running back or a mid wide receiver? Depends what format you're in, Nick. If you're playing a full PPR, I'd rather play the mid wide receiver. If you're playing a half, just roll with the mid running back. Good luck, Andrew. You know what, Fate? The fact that your name is Fate and then you're saying good luck, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I don't know if I should do this. I was going to swap out Donovan Peoples-Jones for Marquez Callaway that's sitting there. Dude, do I want to play Marquez Callaway? I'm going to lose my mind in this league. This is going to be the difference maker of whether I lose or win this week. I think I have to just pick up Marquez Callaway. All right, I'm doing it. I'm biting the bullet. Callaway, please do something this week, please. Gosh, this is sketchy. All right, here we go. Fate, just because of your name, we're running with it. All right, ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages, I appreciate you guys coming out to the circus that is Kickoff with Kiorkof here at the YouTube channel. Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, as of 9 minutes ago, are officially out versus the Panthers, just so we are all on the same page. Thank you guys for coming out today. I'm going to hope that Marquez Callaway scores more points than Donovan Peoples-Jones. And guess what? If he doesn't, or even if he does and I still lose, I'm still going to be salty. Nonetheless, it's Donovan time. Well, listen, Fate, why don't you tell me, Fate, are you playing Donovan Peoples-Jones or Marcus Callaway? You legitimately tell me right now, and I will legitimately play that player. I could care less. I don't really care. You tell me who to play, I'll do it. Because at this point, I just, I am so in my own head with some of these things that I'll lose my mind. Good choice? Okay, good. I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate it. I'm in shambles. It's an early morning. I'm going to go watch some football. I'm going to enjoy it. Tomorrow, we'll have our waiver wire episode. Hopefully, some more content coming along the way. Maybe on Mondays. We'll see exactly what happens. Either way, preparing for tomorrow's Rams game. I will be excited for that. But nonetheless, thank you guys for coming by, hearing me out, sending in donations, supporting the channel with your viewership, smashing the like button, using the promo code Andrew at UnderdogFantasy.com. Again, if you use that today and sign up, Underdog Fantasy is willing to match up to $100 of your first deposit. I have a couple slips going today. I think I put in a couple. Hopefully, I had a couple Deontay Johnson ones. And now that, Rudolph's there, we'll see how it goes about. But either way, guys, thank you. It's going to be a fun one. We'll see how this goes. Until next time, I'll see you guys. Peace.